We're all here.
We
Well,
are?
Home Bucket is not home. So,
Oh.
yeah, we went back and replayed the episode. The name that Dune came up for Brian that he forgot by the end of the show was Home Bucket.
Okay, that works.
Yeah.
I-
You know, some of the best nicknames come out
Far away from my mic,
spontaneously.
I'm kind of like still setting up, but yeah. I know someone named Possum Bucket. I don't know Home Bucket though.
You don't know Home? No, we know Home Bucket. That's Brian.
Oh. Is he here? Brian, are you here? Brian?
No,
Brian?
Brian's not here. I think he was like on some kind of a trip or something like that, and he said he might be getting back around this time, or we might check in on the phone because Dune.
I know he was very
bankrolls
excited
Brian's
with you
phone
last
calls.
week, so I mean,
Well, yeah, last week I don't know. I was on a roll, and he was not.
not. Oh God.
Well,
Yeah.
Well, now to be fair, maybe he was feeling steamrolled over a lot by the time, but by the end of the show, he was trying to steamroll us all, and I was having none of it because Dune was sick as a dog.
I know. I feel so bad for Dune.
And Dune was trying to wrap up his phone call, and Brian's like, "Yeah, okay, that's goodbye, but I got this to say," and it's like, dude, let the guy
You gotta
give
say
his
something. You
sign
gotta say
off and hang
something.
up. Once Dune signs off, hang up. The floor is yours, Brian. But Brian was, but when I told him off, he was like, "Fine." But to be fair to Brian,
Yeah.
we were running over, and I didn't even realize.
Yeah.
it.
Was it like 10 minutes over already? I'm like, oh,
Right,
okay.
and that's when I got it. I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
he was trying to wrap up the show because he wanted to exit.
I was not having life that day, so that day was
You-
very busy for me.
You were not having what?
Life that day, I was very busy.
You were busy having not life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to tell you, I did take a little nap before your show, a
Oh.
nice 4.5 hour nap apparently.
That's a good little nap. That's a good.
You know what? The whole day gone.
Gone.
I'm like, well, it's 1 o'clock. I could take a small little nap, and you know, a little 20-minute nap. You know, here and there on the couch. Just lay down, put on a little YouTube. Just lay down for 20 minutes, and I'll be up and I'll be fine. Right?
Right.
I wake up 5 minutes ago.
Mhm.
Yeah, that was a small nap.
That was a small nap.
Yeah.
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 Now, Sparky writes in, Brian feels it is his right to interrupt people. Well, on this show, everyone has the right to interrupt people. I think the only way I don't want to bash Brian too much on interrupting me, except for when he's doing it.
Yeah.
When he's doing it, I get agitated.
I think that's part of the thing, though. I think that's part of the thing.
But-
You want to interrupt,
well,
and that's fine.
I'm a talker, so like people have to interrupt to get a word in edgewise sometimes, and I get that. So no, I grant Brian the right to interrupt me, except for when I get pissed off at him and yell at him to stop interrupting me.
Okay.
So he can do it, except for when he can't, because that's how we roll here. Sparky writes in, when taking naps, always good to set an alarm, unless you want to turn nap into sleep. Well, the thing about alarms is alarms are things that are that exist to turn off and roll over and go back to sleep after. That's what I used to try setting 2 alarms on the weekend, thinking that maybe I would get up for the second alarm.
Yeah. Well, my problem with alarms are when I was in college, my first year of college, I first moved out, and what the hell is going with my microphone? Whatever. So what happened was I would not be good with alarms. I would throw them in my sleep. I broke about 4 alarms, and I was on very fixed income. I did not have very much money. I even broke one of those metal, the cool metal ones with the 2 bells on it that would ring.
Oh yeah.
One of those. I broke one of those. I threw that against the wall and broke the face off and cracked and broke the whole thing.
Oh, those are great for hurling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the last one I had a nice, it was a clock radio. I yanked the entire cord out of the back, and it wasn't supposed to be yanked out in my sleep.
Yeah.
And then I realized, you know what? I don't need an alarm because I would always wake up like a minute before it anyway.
You
So I
you
just
were
stopped
ready to pounce on that thing and destroy it.
You know
Is
what?
is
I
is
stopped using alarms many, many years ago. I don't use them anymore.
well, I've struggled with alarms lately. What I've been doing is, um, I'm back to a point in my life where I keep the alarm next to the bed. For a long time, I had a rule against having alarms next to my bed, and I started that rule. Well, actually, I started that rule in high school where I'd keep it out of reach, so I'd have to actually get up and reach. Although I could reach it from the bed, so I could get up, reach, lie back down, and go back to sleep easily. So in college, I moved the alarm clock to the other side of the dorm room, and for some reason, I kept showing up late to my physics class because my physics class was 8 a.m. in a
Why
stuffy.
did you take an 8 a.m. physics class?
Because physics was a mandatory class for music recording technology and only offered at 8 a.m.
Wait,
So there was no getting around it. You signed up for physics at 8 a.m. or you didn't graduate. And when you're starting freshman year, that's a little too early to decide to make moves that would prevent you from graduating. So it's, it's like you could sign up for this and take physics at 8 a.m. or you could find some other options for college. So that was that. Freshman year, I had 2 semesters of physics at 8 a.m. in a stuffy building with no windows, with Dr. Day, who maybe y'all want to like try to pay attention now. You all with me? And maybe y'all try to stay awake. You have to sleep which was not as bad as the 8 a.m. electronics class we had the first semester of sophomore year with Dr. Hurst, who had a nice, soothing, grandfatherly voice, talking about the capacitance of the, 8 a.m., we didn't stand a chance. Same stuffy building with no windows, with this voice teaching about capacitance. And we knocked out, fast asleep, 5 minutes in.
I used to take English class. My freshman or my sophomore, or my first or second year of college, what I did, I took English had a lab.
English
And
had
that
a
was-
lab?
Yeah, we had a lab.
How do
We had a lab.
English labs work?
Basically, you spend the 2 hours, you had to do what? 2 hours a week in the rec center.
Okay.
The reading, writing, arithmetic. What the place you do your writing and your composing and whatever you do with English. Okay. So I needed that for graduation. So I took that first period. I took that in the morning, and there's a reason for this.
Mm-hmm.
You could show up there. They had a couch.
Oh.
Yeah, that's the thing. They have a couch.
Couch.
So they would always find me. I would log in because the only requirement for that lab was you to walk in the room. You give them your little card. They do the little electric bloop thingy on it, and you have to be there. And then at the end of your time, they bloop and you're out. Right.
Right.
So, I would log in. For about 6.5 hours a week.
Mm-hmm.
Because I would probably sleep in the morning about 6.5 hours per week. I would do about an hour nap every morning. I had no problem with this.
Ah.
Yeah.
Now, Dune found a picture of the alarms on my phone, and this looks more like the shape of a television remote control than a phone. And it is very long, and it's got an alarm set for every half hour. So that is the phone that we need. It's what we need. Every half hour, we're given the option to decide whether or not we're going to wake up or go back to sleep. Well, it's like I've always said. It's a quote I read somewhere, and I don't know who said it, but whoever said it is an absolute genius, and I will keep this quote with me to the day I die. That is, the best part of waking up is going back to fucking sleep. I mean, there's no greater feeling in the world than waking up still groggy, and you don't have to be anywhere, you don't have to do anything, and you could roll over and go back to sleep. That is the greatest feeling in the world right there.
Well, that's called a snow day when you're a child.
Yeah.
It's called when you wake up, snow. Oh my God, go back to bed. You sit there at the radio waiting for your county to be called, and you go, okay, good night.
You know, my mom didn't understand how snow days worked.
How do you not understand a snow day?
No. She understood how they work. She didn't understand how they worked for me. I would keep my my portable Walkman with AM FM radio near my bed because I usually would put my headphones on to fall asleep to some music or some
I wish
radio.
I had that as a kid. I definitely didn't get that stuff. That was my dad's radio, and I got to sit there and listen to.
Yeah, no, I always at some point I started at some point around 6th or 7th grade I started always keeping a radio near the bed and listening to some radio when I would be lying in bed before I fall asleep, and then I make sure to tune the radio to WCTC, because that was the station that would announce the school closings.
Oh yeah.
And so I my alarm would get me up. And I'd go to grab the headphones, and I'd go to tune in the radio, and Mom would be doing the rounds to wake us up or not wake us up, and she'd pop her head in the room and say, get up, the school's not closed, or school is closed. This is called spoilers, and spoilers are bad. My mom would always spoil the school closings on me. It's like, no, man, I was going to listen to that. I was going to listen to the list. And like, they get close to Hillsborough. Because they go through all the towns in alphabetical order. And you're like, they get around the Fs, they get around the Gs. Come on, Hillsborough. Because when Hillsborough was closed, our schools were closed.
Yeah, pretty much.
Or sometimes we would, well, actually, I guess.
Why are rappers 8,000 times louder when you don't want them to be?
I don't know. Actually, at some point, no, it wasn't if Hillsborough was closed, we were closed. It was, they'd have to get through all the towns, and then after they go through the towns, they would do the Catholic and parochial schools, the private.
So you
parochial.
had the last place school as well, huh?
Right. So I had to wait through the public list to get to the parochial list, and then come on Immaculata, come on, and but my mom would always spoil it. She'd always spoil it for me. It's like, dude, I was gonna listen.
Well, that's me when she says, "Get up, school's closed." I'm like, no, school's closed. I'm not getting up. That's the whole thing. Good night. Extra hour of sleep. Excuse me. I mean, my dad. I was always lucky. My dad always worked at a college. He was he was a professor. So the college is always like same systems as where my high school or my elementary school were. So if I was out of school, my dad was out of school. At work. He didn't have to go in. So he had no problem being excited when they call my school. He goes, oh, that means I don't have to go to work. And he'd be like, well, you don't have to get up because I'm going back to bed for an hour. And I said, I agree. Good night.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's the best part of waking up. Going back to sleep. It ain't Folgers.
I was too young for coffee then.
No,
I didn't know what it was. My dad never drank coffee. He was a tea drinker. My dad's always been a tea drinker.
Yeah. So now Sparky remembers back in the day announcing the school closings on AM radio WEEU. Now we had the option of AM and FM because we had WCTC on the AM dial and WMGQ. Magic 98.3 WMGQ.
I want to say our regular station my dad would listen to always had the closings. They would just do it. So I don't know. I mean, my dad was like a soft K-Fog kind of like, whatever music, not Kenny G per chance, but close. I was more of the I did not like that, like more 80s pop. But
he was into the like Kenny G, but not Kenny G.
Yeah.
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 I think that should be the name of a genre, like Kenny G, but not Kenny G. That'd be a good tagline for a radio station.
If you want to hear the same song 8,000 times over, but it's not Kenny G, it's okay. And
but it's not Kenny G. There's the tagline right there. Magic 98.3. It's not Kenny G.
Oh,
But
God.
but to be fair, Magic 98.3 would play Kenny G, especially.
Do, 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 do. You know, stupid. What do they call that
Well-
song? Songbird.
Well, no, the big one was when he did that version of Auld Lang Syne for New Year's with the year 2000 with different historical recordings put to the music, starting with Edison doing "Mary Had a Little Lamb." Yeah, that
Oh,
thing
yeah.
played throughout the month of January for the year 2000 on Magic 98.3 WMG, because the hold system for the phones at the garbage company I worked for would pipe through Magic 98.3, and they also had a speaker system throughout the office that would pipe in whatever was on the hold system, which was Magic 98.3, and it's time for another Motown memory. So Sparky says leave AM alone. No, this is FM 98.3.
You know, I will
3
say,
is FM.
I will say, I hate to say, I no,
Yeah.
I have no problem with AM, and I really hope they do this whole thing with AM and FM back in the cars, because my sister has
Oh,
a
yes.
Tesla. Yeah, my sister has a Tesla, and I don't know if it actually has a radio. I know it has a big touch screen, and I know she usually streams her music from her phone,
Mm-hmm.
but I hear the radio. Now, whether it's just streaming iHeartRadio, I don't know. I don't know much about it. But AM is very necessary. It's been very necessary for emergency use. It's used
Yes.
for, and you know what? I
You
love
beat me
AM
to the
anyway.
punch on that one.
Do you ever go in 3 a.m. and turn on an AM radio and just go down the dial to see what weird radio stations you find?
All the time.
Yeah. I mean, it's so much. Yeah, I have an old emergency radio that I have with a crank up, the wind up, ring, 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 ring. You know, one of those things.
One
and
of
one
those.
it has an AM radio on it, and I listen to that all the time, and I think it's kind of fun.
Now, this is a response to Dune writing in. Where are you with automakers wanting to dump AM? Careful
Yeah.
with your answer. There's
Exactly.
only one right one. And you hit the nail on the head with.
Don't get rid of AM. It's
I
important.
think the reason AM has been able to hold out as long as it has
What?
is because of its use as a emergency transmission that's
Oh.
easy to tune in.
Mod Pro is such a zoomer. What's AM?
Oh, Mod Pro.
Mod Pro.
Mod Pro.
Mod Pro, you're such a zoomer.
Mod Pro. Surely there's a little transistor radio within arm's reach somewhere in your house that has 2 different options or one option.
I know.
and if a transistor radio has one option, that means it gets in AM only. So, Mars, surely as a kid at some point you've had a radio that was an AM only radio that came in like your stocking or something like that. So
I have to say, when I was a kid, all the times I got like a little transistor radio,
uh-huh.
they would be FM only. There was no
Oh.
AM on them, and that was sad.
Okay. Well, at least
Yeah.
you were sad about it.
Yeah.
But the problem with the automakers is, I think this is a you know, you might want to rethink your whole Elon fanboy position if that is
I don't think
yours.
it's going to take much to twist people's
But
arms,
Elon
honestly.
and Tesla are the ones that are, you know, that have scrapped the AM.
Oh, it's not only Tesla, though.
It's
Gabe.
not only Tesla, but they're
It's
one of
not
the
only Tesla.
and I'm not
It's-
saying it's only
yeah.
Tesla. Let me get that clear. It's not only
Yeah.
Tesla, but
No.
Tesla has been one of the big offenders on that. And
I
and
think-
their reasoning for it is because the electric car is causing interference on the AM
and that
dial.
makes sense. That honestly
Right.
makes sense. Yeah.
So-
But you can get by with that. You can get by with it.
Well, they
You can
had
just
2
shield it.
options. They had 2 options. One, design an AM radio with shielding or something to be able to deal with the interference, or 2, scrap the AM radio. Tesla looked at the price of each option, and they chose the cheaper one. So you know,
Well, you can't blame them for wanting to choose a cheaper
that's
way,
American capitalism at its finest. There, you know.
Well-
That's- So there is one right answer, and American capitalism says the right answer is bye AM. But I got to disagree with them on that.
I disagree,
you know.
yeah.
I
Yeah.
you know, and I hope that I mean that's the thing is what they're looking at now is, you know, I think there's talk of making AM radios mandatory in cars to keep them around for emergency transmission. Now
Yeah.
I could guess what some people's position is on that, but.
Well, and
Anyways,
you know what aircraft use for transmitting, right? They use AM.
yeah.
You know that's their thing. That's I think it's the most robust between it. But they
Although
use
then
AM.
there's although a big problem with the airplane transmissions is they can easily jam one another, which you know could cause issues if there's like a very important transmission when something bad's about to happen, like if an airplane's about to head on down the
I
runway
haven't
towards
really
another airplane.
noticed that much though, because like I listen to air traffic control all the time. I love listening to air traffic control. On my ham radios, AM. Oh, what is it? It's 121 point. I think the frequency is like 121 point like 50 or something. Is like SFO. So I listen to SFO all the time. And it's kind of neat hearing the air traffic control when the planes in the
Yeah.
and there's an airport pretty close to me, so I hear stuff from them. I actually can hear. Depends on the time of day. There's 4 airports I can listen to, and yeah.
Yeah, it's great fun to listen. People post recordings of air traffic to YouTube, especially if like there was one I was listening to the other day for 2 missed approaches at San Francisco because the tower controller kept lining up other airplanes too close to the landing of the other airplane. And they wouldn't take off fast enough, and so he basically would be like, cancel, go around. And on the second one, he started getting bitchy with the tower controller. Like,
Yeah,
what the
sometimes those are hilarious to listen to.
Hey, can
Some
you
of
let
them
me
are
land this
really
time?
funny.
Yeah.
Anybody ever get a chance, just go on YouTube, type in air traffic control, and see what you find. And some of the stuff is just amazing.
Or like the recording of Harrison Ford landing on the taxiway. Was that airplane meant to be there? Yeah, you landed on Charlie. I landed on Charlie? We got a number for you to dial, possible pilot deviation. I don't know much about flying, but I do know that you never want to hear an air traffic controller say, we've got a number for you to dial. Let us know when you're ready to copy. It's like being sent to the principal's office. Anyways, to be clear, Mod Pro does know what AM is. But yeah, I mean the big issue is the electric car and the interferences there. That's the big issue.
And they can fix that. That's not that hard to do. It's just going to take a little.
It can be fixed with money, It's,
Well, yeah. Okay,
like,
that is the
like
key
all
word.
things. You
That's
fund
the key word.
it, it'll work.
Everything can be fixed with money, whether it be $20 or $5 kajillion. It's like, oh, would you take out the garbage? Never. Here's $1 trillion. I will do this, and it is done. Dude, we need you to get a hot pink car. I will never get that. Here's $1 trillion. Dude, don't have a hot pink car. I guarantee you.
Here's my address. When should I expect it to arrive?
Well, you know what, Sparky?
Sparky
you
does point out
actually make
stupidity
a nice
agreed.
argument.
Well, here's the thing. Money, that depends what type of stupidity. There are many types of stupidity. And money can buy education. Now ignorance is a type of stupidity that you can't fix with money.
Yeah.
But
he was generalizing. See, he didn't say what stupidity.
Right.
See, Sparky's very smart at this. I could tell.
Yeah. But and Sparky pointing out that they could just use shielding, which is not a new concept. Corvettes had a shield over the distributor.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, really, but that's not the route Tesla went, and others, and I guess I wasn't prepared to discuss this topic, so I don't have a list of the things other than Tesla that have also done this.
Yeah, I think
so I'm kind of singling them out unfairly, so my apologies to that.
I want to say the Leaf. Who does the Leaf? Is it the Honda Leaf? No, it's the Toyota Leaf. One of those. It might be Toyota.
Toyota's a Prius, and I don't know if I'm not.
No, the Prius has an AM, I think.
Yeah, I don't think but it probably doesn't work that well if they didn't, unless they did shield it. I don't know. That's a good question.
Well, that wasn't the whole point. It's there. Doesn't mean it has to work very well. It's there still. Just turn off the car and turn on the radio.
Now, Dune writes in, don't use big car words with Johnny. Hey, come on. I know how to change a starter, and I know how to start a car using a screwdriver.
Okay, you know how to change a starter. Okay,
And I know how to strip the threads.
Yeah, I was gonna say, did it work?
Part.
Did it work when you changed the starter?
Well, the new starter works.
Uh-huh.
It just doesn't fix my problem.
So when are you gonna take this to the dealership and say, "Hey, just fix this crap"?
This car ain't worth fixing. There are two options: I fix it myself, or I make you all have a certain song stuck in your head tonight. You're welcome.
Is it Songbird by Kenny G?
Yes, that's the one. Songbird by Kenny G.
Yep.
That is how I'm going to fix my car's problem. I'm just going to keep playing Songbird by Kenny G until it disappears.
Maybe it's like Christine. You have to play Itty Bitty Pretty One when you first start up. You start playing that, and then the car will fix itself.
No. Sparky writes in, Johnny needs a no bounce hammer. They are made for what he ruined when he used the wrong type of hammer. You see, I just tapped to loosen up the neutral safety, and I damaged some threads on a threaded pin that is used to adhere the nut and washer that holds down the neutral safety switch in its position, so that it can be stationary while the inner ring is rotated by the moving part that's attached to the gear shift.
Do you have like a ball peen hammer?
No, I got a claw hammer. It's got a hammer on one side, claw on the other.
Which side did you use?
The hammer side.
Okay, well that's at least the plus part. You don't want to use the claw part of it. Which
No.
I've done about the same, honestly. But
I found a thread repair tool on Amazon that's going to get delivered on Tuesday. So we're
now is it the threads on the bolt or the threads where you're putting it in?
I think it's the threads on the bolt, because I didn't do anything to the nut that it would have damaged the threads in the nut, so it's got to be the threads on the top of the bolt. Although they don't look damaged, but then again, my eyesight ain't what it used to be.
Hey, neither is mine.
So okay,
I win. Win.
You win the internet for today, Mars.
So can you just buy that part again, or are you just gonna?
Well, the thing
honestly,
is, the pin with threads on it is part of a much bigger part that is much buried into it's no.
You can't just buy the part.
You can't just buy the part. No. Now Sparky thinks I did more than tap. I may have tapped firmly multiple times. I didn't have enough room to swing like a full force swing. I did not, because the thing's buried with a bunch of hoses surrounding it. So I had to be careful where I was tapping. So it was tapping. Speaking of switches, did you try several clock positions on the neutral safety switch to verify the key at this point is the issue? I did. I tried both neutral safety switches in various positions, and I never got a signal to the wire that adheres to the starter. Now, I found a wire that comes out of the neutral safety connector that has the same color coordination as the wire that connects to the starter, which is a white wire with a red stripe. So if, and this is a big if, it's not a verified if, but if Ford made the wire that comes off the neutral safety switch color coordinated with the wire that connects to the starter, that means that wire should also be putting out signal when I turn the key. And I carefully stripped a bit of that wire so I could put a little alligator clip on the exposed wire there and test off of that directly off the neutral safety switch. Because then if I got signal there, I could just run my own wire off of that. But I couldn't get signal there either.
I misread that. I'm sorry. I heard my audio. I saw. Okay, Madro said she's getting food. I said I thought my speech said I need booze, and I'm like, well, maybe.
I needs foods.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
So my. Do you plug anything into the ODBC on the side of your thing and check the codes when you try to turn your car on? Does it give you any information?
I've not tried that, and I don't expect that to do much, being that,
Well,
it's. But the check
It doesn't
engine
mean
light
it's
isn't
not
on.
going to. If there's a computer, it's going to give you fault errors, right?
Well, if their check engine light was on, but it didn't. The check engine light didn't come on when I got it to start, so I don't. Here's the thing. Now, my dad has a mechanic. My dad's an amateur mechanic, and my dad has a mechanic friend who's a real mechanic.
Oh, is he driving down?
No, but
Oh.
my dad
I was
texted.
like, well, that works.
But my dad texted or called him and relayed to him the same symptoms, and so what was relayed back to me was to check the ignition switch,
Okay.
and that's a plastic part that has a bunch of metal contacts and things in it that I can get for $20 down the street at AutoZone. So that's my next step. My next step is to buy a replacement ignition switch and try swapping that out and see if that gets me signal to the neutral safety and to the starter wire. And if I can get all that together, then I can put things back together. I sent my dad a picture of the frayed wires, one of which has got 2 strands of wire left holding to the connector.
Oh.
And my dad's response was, "Wow, tape that up very carefully."
Yeah, I'd say you'd be electrical taping that thing.
Well, the thing is I didn't think it'd be a good idea to tape it up and leave it alone with only 2 strands left. 2 strands is really not much, and it's enough to carry electrons, but I don't think it's
Replace that
enough.
wire? Would that be hard to do?
What?
The one that has 2 strands.
Well,
You
it
replace
would break so easily. Well, the problem is that it's stripped right up at the connector.
Okay.
Now, Sparky writes in, wait, you did not put everything back together to test? Are you expecting a 99-cent voltage probe to give you your troubleshooting test results? I have a $3 testing probe.
Wow, that's 3 times as much as 99 cents.
When I connect it to the terminals on the battery, the probe lights up. I know the probe works.
Okay.
Also, I have a $20 to $30 voltmeter, which is about as cheap as a volt multimeter, and I've used that too to test things. I am not getting sick, and yes, I did put things back together. I put things back together enough that the neutral safety's in the right. Sparky points out it lights up blue. It backlights blue. It's still. It gives me an indication. Color blindness has nothing to do with it. It either lights up or it doesn't. It's the backlight of the voltage reading display. It's an LCD display with a blue backlight that lights up when it has signal, and the LCD shows you how much volts it's reading in addition to lighting up. But it doesn't have like a little white bulb that glows really easy to see, but it's adequate. I'm not getting signal out of the... You can see it enough. I've verified I can see it. Come on, Sparky. I look like a crazy man arguing with myself for those people that can't see the chat.
And
Hello,
that's different
YouTube
how?
people. Usually Brian's here. That's
Oh.
how it's different.
Oh.
Well, technically. But Sparky writes it.
I don't know.
Hashtag inside joke.
Yeah.
I feel like Brian tonight. Thank you. Well, someone's got to do it. Someone's got to be a Brian. Anyways, yeah, basically I'm going to try the ignition switch to see if that can get me, and yes, that a Brian is better than a Karen. So, we'll try the ignition switch. But here's the thing. Tomorrow is a very important day. Dune writes in, the difference between Johnny, Dune, and Sparky. Dune and Sparky would be driving their push-button car to Taco Bell. I have an app for that. Well, here's the thing. Tomorrow is the day that I need the MBTA to not fuck up. Now, to be fair, more days than not, if I take the numbers of days that I've used the MBTA and they've not fucked up,
Yeah.
versus the number of days I've taken the MBTA and they have fucked up, they have not fucked up way more days than they have fucked up.
Oh, see, there you go.
But that's not good enough.
Oh.
because they don't want to. Their track record ain't that great. In case you haven't caught the news about how like awful their safety record is and how awful their upkeep is. But basically, they've just been they've been dealing with budget issues by just not doing any maintenance until they have to. So basically, the T's policy is we'll fix it just as soon as it breaks down and we have to.
That's probably by Bart, too, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, Sparky wants to know what the MBTA is. Massachusetts something transportation. Let's see. Basically, it's our transit. Massachusetts Bay Transportation Authority. So the commuter rail is what I'm particularly talking about.
Yeah.
And they go by the acronym the T. And I had this is the one good thing Saul ever came up with. Saul was a guy that I worked with that he was a temp that kept fucking up. And eventually the boss said, we're not going to renew his contract. And I was going to try to talk the boss into renewing his contract because I didn't want to deal with having to interview and hire a replacement. And at least he got some things done. But the day that the decision needed to be made, I come in that morning and I'm like, hey, Saul, why aren't these desks set up that I asked you to set up on Friday? Oh, I'm doing that now.
Oh, God. Excuse me, why? I would have punched him and done it myself.
And so when I sat down with the boss to decide whether or not we were renewing Saul's contract, guess who didn't recommend renewing Saul's contract?
I wouldn't recommend it either. I was like, dude, you didn't do your freaking job, and all it is moving desks around. Where's your problem, Saul?
Here's how it happened. I asked him to do this on Friday, and he said, oh, sure, it'll get done. I'm like, this needs to be done before the end of the day. Monday morning, we got new people starting in the morning. We need monitors, mouse, keyboard, docking station on their desk. This needs to be ready to go.
Get it going.
Get it done whenever you want to, as long as it's done before you go home today.
That's where you made a mistake.
Sure.
That's where you made a mistake. That's where you made a mistake.
I was very clear before you go home today. You know, you go ahead, you figure out when before you go home today you do it, but you do it before you go home today.
You're treating him like a high school student, as you should.
Yeah.
And they're acting like a high school student. I'll do it later.
So now, Dune wants to know, who is this dude? This dude's a contractor at my previous job. Nice guy, but he was also kind of fresh out of college, or he's in college still, maybe. I don't know. He was very young compared to me. But he is a tech dude. He was working service desk support on a contract in our department, which means that, you know, if things work out good, maybe we'd bring him on full time. But yeah. So that Friday, I said, you know, this all needs to be set up before you go home today. You know, you figure out in your schedule where you fit in, but before you go home today. Now, I didn't say all that, but that was implied. But I did say before you go home today. So Monday morning, I come in and I do a walk around to kind of check the desks. I'm like, I better check to make sure these desks are ready for these new hires that are coming in. Because, you know, we got like a half hour before like orientation starts. I got to run in and do the orientation. And then they're going to go off to their desks. And if they don't have things at their desks, I'm going to get angry phone calls from supervisors going, how come my, you know, new hire doesn't have what they need? So I walk to the desks and they don't have the things set up on them. And I'm like, where the fuck is, you know, Sammy? And because I already blew out the real name and I probably shouldn't since I'm telling this story. Yeah. So I go.
Oh, like that really matters, honestly.
And Sammy should have been in by now. So I'm walking around. So at some point I bump into him. And what's he doing? I bump into him. He's got 2 docking stations, a bunch of keyboards and cables in his hand. And I'm like, dude, why weren't the desks set up on Friday? I'm doing it now. Well, why wasn't it done on Friday? I don't have time to talk about this now. I got to get these desks set up. And then he scrambled off.
Well, you know you're in review period. You knew this Friday.
So, which
mean-
to be fair to him, he was right. He didn't have time to discuss this. He needed to get this done now because he didn't do it Friday. But he was very rude about the way he blew me off, and like I said, that was exactly the day that me and Nordine were sitting down to discuss whether or not we were renewing Sammy's contract. And Nordine was already like, "No, I don't want to, but we'll sit down and
Wait.
talk."
First
And
of
so-
all, this might be controversial. Might be controversial. But Saul, Sammy, whatever your name is, you're a dumbass. And the reason I say this is, you know it's been a year. You know you're up for review. What the hell? Oh, I'm gonna. Yeah, exactly. It's like, dude, you know you're up for review. You know. Come on, get your crap done. Make sure your P's and Q's are crossed and dotted. You know. Oh my god. Dumbass.
No. Now, to be fair to Sammy, he actually reached out to me at some point in the last few months to let me know that there was an opening for some kind of supervisor position in his company. And hey, send me your resume and I'll submit it for you.
Oh, do you want to work for Sammy again?
Well, this would be a supervisorial position. It'd somehow be above him, which I was quite. Here's the thing: I was always nice to him.
Mm-hmm.
That was the only time I was really kind of confrontational. But he knew that it was because he fucked up.
Yeah, he's
not
probably
because
gonna
I was
be
trying
like,
to
"Oh, awesome! I got a
I
supervisor above
didn't do
me."
it. Oh, I did not do it. No,
Yeah.
I looked at the job description. It was a bona fide paper pusher that does nothing but push paper, which I would be absolutely bored of.
It's like,
I need.
Oh, John.
I want to actually do things. You know.
He's gonna be my boss. Guess what? Now I can slack off if he's the boss. This is great. I'll recommend him.
So Sparky writes in, then Johnny needs to say, okay, after you get it all set up, we need to talk. Well, that's the thing. Nordine was the bad guy. I was
Good. Let her be the bad guy. Honestly, exactly.
But I was going to say to Nordine, I was planning. That day when I went into the office that morning, I was planning to sit down with Nordine and say, look it. If we don't renew Saul, we got to interview people, and it's a pain in the ass. And yeah, Saul's messed up a few times, but he's also done some good work too. Could we give him a trial period for another month? Could we extend him another 3 months? Could we, that's what I was.
Maybe he'll stop being lazy tomorrow.
I was working through my head the ways to defend him and try to get him a little bit of an extension. But then he pulled that, and I was like, the hell, I'm doing that. That's what I was like, Nordine, go ahead. Do what you've already decided to do. I'm not going to try to talk you out of it. So
Yep. I agree too.
and Sparky agreeing with me that it needs to do more than pushing papers
I
behind
mean,
the
someone's
desk.
got to do it. But can we get AI to do pushing papers? Can we just have them do
Oh.
it so we don't have to?
I don't want AI taking jobs.
Why not?
We don't have enough jobs for people as it is.
Okay. Well, that's because no one wants to do paper pushing.
Yeah, maybe we get the AI to do, I don't know, car repair.
You know what AI could
No.
do?
Let's not put the
AI
good
could
mechanics
do
out of
AI
work.
could do a podcast on Mondays at 8 p.m. Eastern Eastern time on the Whole Bar Radio Network.
I want someone to make a Johnny Gators AI so I could listen to it and laugh my ass off.
Oh, what is that? Is it Voice AI? Is that the one it is that lets you do voices?
I don't know. Well, I did use an AI voice to do our promo, but the reason I brought up Saul was because Saul did one great thing that I must give him credit for, and that was, and I don't know if he repeated this or he made this up, but his line that I've used many times is, you can't spell stupid without the T, because that the T is what we call the MBTA. So every time I get a delayed train or whatever, I always
Oh yeah, this
repeat
is
that.
the roundabout. Okay. What did the NTBA do? Why does
Well-
it have to be perfect tomorrow?
Because, well, first of all, if everything runs on time,
We went around it.
if everything runs on time, I will get into the office tomorrow at 8 a.m. And
Yes.
tomorrow there is a major presentation in the major conference room at 8:30. And I'm getting all kinds of panicked emails from people that want to know, does it do this? Will it share the sound to the people in the Teams call because the presentation has sound? Will it present the laptop? Will it projectors? Will it do this? Will someone be on site to support this if it goes wrong? So I do not want to deal with not being. I've told people I will be in the office by 8. I'll be there before your 8:30
So you're leaving at
presentation.
6?
Well, I wait. I mean, that's the thing is now I got to catch an earlier train, so if they fuck up,
Yeah,
I
pretty much you leave at 6.
I
Or-
cannot because normally I wake up at 6 to leave the house at or after 6:30 to be at the train station before 7 because a 7:00 train will get to Ruggles Station by 7:30, and then I got a little 20-minute walk to the office.
I know you'd hate it. I know you'd hate it. But if all else fails, could you drive in?
That might take longer.
But at least you know, if you leave at 6, you know you might get there by 8.
Oh no! If I leave at 6, I might get there by 10.
Oh, no, is it that bad?
I've
Is
heard
traffic
of people crawling 2 hours in traffic that are local to the office.
Oh, that's a
The
shame.
Boston traffic's that bad.
Yeah.
So if I drove in, I need to be like leaving here at like 5, and I'd still like be crawling when I get into I don't do well with city traffic. I just don't. That's the type of traffic where you really need to assert yourself, and I'm kind of a sit back and let someone let me in type of dude. But that doesn't fly with that. So normally I take the 7:00 train. Well, actually the 6:54 train that gets to Ruggles at 7:30. But there is a train before that at 6:34 that gets to Ruggles at 7:19. So I might want to try to get out the door 6-ish to catch the 6:34. But
Yeah,
there
I'm
have
gonna
been
be asleep at that point.
But you know what? There have been times that I've left to get the 7:00 train, and I go and I walk to the station, and the 6:30 train is blocking the track, preventing the 7:00 train from arriving because the 6:30 train broke down at our station. And when that happens, the 7:00 train flies right by and continues on its way without stopping at our station, and we have to wait because that's an express train. So then we have to wait for the 7:30 train to come and hook up to our train and try to push it. And more often than not, what that results in is having an even bigger broken down train.
Like,
That
let's
is
push
the-
this big.
The T is really good at turning one broken down train into a double broken down train when they try to push it. That happens all the fucking time.
Let's try to push start this train. Why not?
They hook the two of them together, and then it still doesn't work, and then they go, oh shit. So they, even if I try to catch an earlier train, they could still fuck me over royally.
Now Sparky says you can fly a helicopter. He's seen you do it before.
That is true. I could drive a rocket car over the hills. I could.
There you go.
It landed a church parking lot.
Or just ran and say, "Oh, I like their car. Better punch them out, throw them out of the car, and take their nice car." You know, isn't that the?
Dune writes in, what could happen to the train? Isn't that where the clockwork thing came from? I don't know. And then the other thing is I need to get home on time because I have an appointment for my car to be looked at tomorrow morning at
Oh,
the
you got the
Ford
car
dealership.
doctor.
Right, so I'm gonna drop my car off the night before, so it's there in the morning. Now, I guess to be fair,
Wait.
I
wait.
get Wednesday I'll be working from home, so Wednesday I could drive the car there myself Wednesday morning if they fuck up. But I want to get home with enough time to drop the car off tomorrow evening, and then Uber back home because I did not get the second car working in time. So that's the thing. So that's where I've got things at the end of both train rides tomorrow.
Tweets you guys about tomorrow afternoon about waiting for the Uber to show up.
While we're talking about the T, let's talk about the T's lost and found. And those, you all probably know this already because I already told the story on yesterday's show. But I called the T's commuter rail customer service number several times and asked them if they found my bag that got left on the train because we know it was left on the train. And the first time I called, they took my information. They said they'd call me back if it turned up. The second time I called, they said, well, did you report it? Because they'll call you back if they find it. And they checked and they said, no, it hasn't turned up. And I
Oh,
called
they
a
don't
third time. I
report
called a fourth time.
jack-gators.
So I went to South Station last week. I walked up to the counter. I asked them, has anyone turned in a gray backpack to the lost and found? They said, let me check. She walks away. She came back with my backpack. It was
Oh,
there.
thank God.
It was there. But
Was
no
everything
one.
in it?
Yes. Yes.
Wow. Bless you, person that they gave
So-
it back to him.
And I don't take issue with the phone service not being able to tell me everything that's in the lost and found. I take issue with the phone service telling me they definitely don't have it. If the phone service said it's not in our database, but our database is usually not current, so it would probably be best for you to check in person. I'd be perfectly fine with an automated system saying if you need to check the lost and found, you must go in person to South Station. I'd be fine with that. But to tell me, well, I checked our database of everything in the lost and found, and it's not there. That's
How often do they
bullshit.
update their database?
Bullshit.
How often do you
Bullshit.
think they update their database?
I don't know. Now, Sparky says that you have to ID it. Was there proof the bag was yours? Well, I mean, it went like this. I asked for a gray backpack. They said, anything special about it? I said, no, it's a plain gray backpack. It has a laptop in it. Now, I was ready to describe the laptop because the laptop has a label on it with the computer name for it, which has a 3-letter abbreviation, a dash, and a 3-digit number.
Mm-hmm.
And I could have told them that. I could have told them, lift the lid, look above the keyboard. There's going to be a label there that says blah, 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 blah. And I could have told them, these types of there's a, USB, CD, DVD drive in the bag. There's some cables in there. You have to find a charger with cables attached to it to the USB ports, a little mini screwdriver, some earbuds. I didn't do any of that. I just said gray backpack with a laptop in it. They brought out my bag. I instantly said, yes, that's my bag. And I was waiting for them to ask me for some verification. All they did was they asked me to sign the card and put my name and address on there claiming it, hand over my driver's license so they could photocopy it. So they took a record of who claimed it.
Yeah.
But they didn't ask me much more to verify it other than you asked for a gray backpack with a laptop. We have a gray laptop with a gray backpack with a laptop.
Yeah.
Here, take it and we'll take your information. That way, if someone else comes looking for the same thing, we can give them your information. I don't think that's how that works.
It's like trading insurance, you just
It's like if someone else comes looking for this, we might call you. They didn't say that, but I mean, they took my information, so
Yeah.
they could follow up with me if someone
and
else comes.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, they might call you and say,
right.
Oh.
Oh,
not
no,
one
no.
word. Okay.
June pointing out I forgot to mention the Twitch mask. I'm
Now,
sorry,
did you say
June.
the Twitch mask? Was it still in there?
The Twitch mask goes without saying, but yeah, it's still in there. It's
Good.
still-
See,
Now, Sparky suggesting I should put a business card in the back pocket. That's not a bad idea. You
Yeah.
know, it's a bag with a mask. Oh, I think there was a laptop in there too. But most importantly, the Twitch mask. We have to pay extra. My friend had to pay extra for the purple paint on that. So yeah, that is why I just need the T to not fuck with me tomorrow. Just one day. Just one day they need to. Tomorrow is not the day for them to be fucking around. They need to get a damn train from point A to point B and back to point A on fucking time. Tomorrow's the day they need to be on time. I am
everybody
tempting
turn
fate.
off your all caps filter and Twitter, so you'll see.
Oh, did you see today I tweeted a typo that I found in a 1980s TV broadcast?
You just now caught it? Oh, I don't know. I didn't see your tweet. I'm sorry.
Well, back in 1987, Alf and Richard Mall hosted an episode of Friday Night Videos.
Really?
Yeah. Actually, they hosted 2 episodes, one in 1986 and one in 1987. I've only found a recording in the 1987 episode.
I did not know they did that.
Some years ago, I got a DVD of it in a trade, which it's interesting. TV collectors and traders are prickly people. Certainly, they're not. I have this whole idea that if you're willing to share your things, and then everyone else is willing to share their things, then everyone will have everything and we'll all be happy.
That's called YouTube. Yeah.
But that's not how prickly TV traders work. The way they work is if I have something that's rare, the rarer it is, the better my position is to use it to trade for other rare things. So people want to hold on to their rare things unless they get something rare in return to build up their so it's like, hey, I've spent years building up this collection. I'm not going to devalue it by just giving it away for free.
That's called trade. That's called card traders too. I used to do the same thing with Pokemon cards.
Yeah, well, but
I mean-
except that you don't photocopy Pokemon cards.
You could. Then if you cut them out right, you could. Well, maybe not.
You
can't
don't
play them
lose anything by making a copy of TV episodes, except that it's now less rare. But I've run into that so I ran into a guy that had some Friday Night Videos episodes that he was willing to trade on DVD, but only if you had the goods, had something he didn't have. And I was like, well, I've got some other Friday Night Video episodes, but I'm still
I
working
found some
on
links at YouTube. Does that count? Is that rare?
Yeah, well, there's more on YouTube than there was back when I made this trade.
Yeah.
But the YouTube ones I have to clip the videos out of to not get blocked, so that kind of sucks. But I could probably edit them back in. It would just take hours. But so I remember talking to this guy, and the guy's like, no, I'm only interested in an equal trade for trade. You got to get, and so finally I'm like, well, would you mind if they're just dumped off of low quality VHS? He's like, no, sure, that's great, fine, send them over. So I made a trade with him for DVDs of Friday Night Video episodes that I had off of my low quality VHS tapes that he didn't have, and he sent me 4 DVDs of 4 Friday Night Video episodes that were in much better quality, and 2 of them were taped off on a beta machine that was synced up to an FM receiver to get the stereo simulcast at the same time with the transmission.
Look at that.
Which, in the early 80s was rare for people to do that.
Yeah.
So that was really cool. But one of the episodes I got was a 1987 episode hosted by Alf and Richard Mall. And so I finally ripped the DVD and brought it up into Sony Vegas and started replacing the music videos with better quality music videos and flying in the announcers and splicing all the things in and making new titles to fly over. And it came out really good. I'm quite happy with it. I just put the finishing touches on it this morning before I clocked in. And so but I was reviewing it and I noticed, I'm going to go ahead and pull up this window here of what I tweeted, because one of the episodes in this episode was Shakedown by Bob Seger, as featured in Beverly Hills Cop 2.
Yeah. I actually 87, right?
Yeah.
Because
exactly.
I listen to Casey every Sunday morning at 8 a.m. I listen to Casey Kasem on one of the iHeart radio stations, and they do a random episode. Yesterday was June 6th, 1987. They put Shakedown on it because Beverly Hills Cop 2 had come out. It was pretty big.
Yeah. And right here, I'm sharing a screen capture of the end of the episode as it aired in the at the end of the video as it aired in the episode, where they have listed on there Bob Seger, Seeger.
Did Alf write it?
Could have been, but that is not how you spell.
I mean, I wasn't gonna say Richard Mall. I mean, maybe I don't.
Richard. But anyways, so there you go. I found a typo.
Did you email what was it, NBC was it NBC?
Well, I think Dick Ebersol is the executive producer on there. If I can get an email address for him,
You should
I could
email.
probably...
By the way, in 1987, I was watching Friday Night Videos, and here is a copy. Right here is a screenshot of the error. You should fix this now.
I did tweet the screenshot to Bob Seger's official Twitter account so he could take note that they spelled his name
I'm sure
wrong.
he's going to love that. He's like,
1987.
I know. I remember that. Why does it keep coming up?
So maybe he can follow up with them to correct that, to print a retraction or something.
Maybe they'll send you a pristine reel-to-reel copy of the episode Gators. You don't know.
I made my own pristine copy. But I've also posted...
It wouldn't be on reel-to-reel.
But I also took a point, because here's the thing. I can't find any other footage of this online. So it turns out I may have picked up something a bit on the scarce side in my collecting that I've been hoarding in my box of DVDs
Did you
for
tell
the
the
past
guy
few
you
years.
traded it with your prickly guy? Hey, there's an error in this one.
I don't even remember who that guy was or how I found him.
Oh, okay.
So I don't have that contact anymore. I don't even remember if he had more episodes that he could have traded me. I think he just had those 4, which means now he has 8. So, anyways, so I'm working on trying to share it or trade it to get it further out there. Actually, there's a lot of Friday Night Video episodes with the videos taken out in different host segments on YouTube if you go digging.
Yeah.
There's one with Pee Wee Herman. There's one with what was it, Jay Leno and
I knew about
Brad
the one with Paul
Tartikoff.
Yeah.
Yeah. But anyways, I clipped all the segments with Alf and Richard Mall out and put those on YouTube because then that won't like flag any copyright bells. And I posted the link over to the Alf forum so that all the Alf fans could see some Alf footage that they may not have previously seen.
They were very busy in '87.
Yeah.
Alf and Richard Mall, because they would probably do Friday night videos and then run over to Hollywood Squares and do Hollywood Squares.
Yeah.
So they were pretty busy.
I guess
Along
they
with Shadow
were.
Stevens,
Yeah. But yeah, here I'll just tell you what, I'll bring up the Alf clips for a little bit just to give you. I did post to my YouTube channel the Alf portion, the Alf and Bull clips. Of,
Well, yeah. Isn't everybody here looking at the Alf forums?
I don't know. that is a question. But here. Anyways, we'll go ahead and share my screen. Because this has been a fun project that I finally finished off, and I'm proud of. Although this isn't the actual.
Now,
thing
do you
I
only
do a lot
have
of work on.
do you have an entire series of this, or do you just have tons of episodes?
I just have a collection of episodes. I mean, there's so many episodes. Even getting all of them would be impossible.
Yes, Bull Shannon.
Hi, I'm Richard Mall.
That's Bull.
Alf, aliens don't swear.
Bull.
Oh, you mean me?
Yeah, Bull
We're
Shannon.
hosting Friday Night Videos, and that's no...
Bull.
There it is. Bull Shannon.
On Friday Night Videos, your hosts are America's favorite aliens, Alf,
America's favorite
and
alien.
God, I
America's
love this.
favorite court officer, Night Court's Richard Mall.
Crockett and Tubbs, move over.
We'll have broadcast
Oh,
premieres
I
from
wonder how many takes it took for
U2
them to do
and
that.
Pink Floyd's Roger Waters, plus Madonna, Heart, The System,
Oh, good. Yeah.
Tapau's Heart and Soul, Alexander O'Neill, and much, much more.
That's basically
And
the countdown
now,
I just
here's
listened
Alf
to.
and Richard Mall.
How do you like Hollywood?
Hollywood is wild. It's hip, it's now, it's pal. I like it.
It's hip, it's now, it's pal.
Yeah.
You're fitting right in, you know.
Yeah.
That's good. I like to
Lunch.
see that. You are adapting.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Sure I am.
Who would you, now that you've been around town a bit, you checked out the scene, seen the action?
Not really. I'm
Don't
not
tell
that
him you
type
hear
of guy.
that.
I'm sort of a homebody.
Really?
Yeah, I like to sit around the pool, clip my nails every once in a while with the hedge trimmer, have maybe a little soft drink, and tend to my collection of barbed wire.
I think you should get out more.
Maybe I should.
Who would you like to, if you did get out, if you took, just plunged right in there, who would you like to date?
Lassie.
Oh.
Do you,
Anyways, I clipped
Well,
all the.
that's
little
understandable.
in-between. Yeah. Now, Sparky pointing out that we got some static on that recording. That transmission recording was not the greatest. I did run some declicking to minimize some of the static, and it helped. I also reduced some of the humming, but it's still kind of present there. I could remove all the hum, but then it makes it sound kind of reverby and a little
That's
off.
probably makes it sound more flat.
Yeah,
Flat,
yeah. So you got to find the right balance of noise reduction. But speaking of people that shave their head,
Who?
I'm now one of them.
Did you shave everything? Do you have a beard or?
I have the beard still, but I decided, fuck it, why not?
So well, if you grow your beard out really long, you could be either the guy from ZZ Top, but he has a lot of hair on top of his head, or the guy or the guy from Bare Naked Ladies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, here's the thing. I've been kind of every now and then the thought is maybe I should just shave my head because clearly I'm a bald dude. You know, there
Yeah.
ain't nothing growing on top anymore. I just got this, ring around the cue ball, and is that doing me any good? I don't know why bother to keep that without that.
So you don't want the card look anymore.
I thought about it, and but I didn't really like the idea of being completely bald either, and they were kind of. But here's what happened. I was thinking about enough that I priced head razors, the electric razors that are kind of palm shaped, and I put one in my Amazon cart, but I didn't pull the trigger, and I kind of was going back and forth. Maybe I will. Oh, I could try it out. And if I don't like it, I could just let it grow back in. No big deal, no harm, no foul, but I didn't pull the trigger. And then I was lying awake in bed, and at 2 a.m, I decided, fuck it, I'm pulling the trigger.
I don't know.
So at 2 a.m, I grabbed the phone and I hit the go button, and I put the phone down. I rolled over. I went to sleep. Sparky wants to know if my Face ID still works. I don't use Face ID. I use my thumbprint.
I'm sorry, I just find that funny. No, I bought a razor about 2 years ago,
Okay.
right around right about a year after COVID started, because I didn't want to go to the haircut place, and
Yeah.
then it just got so I spent like $140 on it, and that was a lot, but it's a ton of attachments, and honestly, I've saved more money in doing my own hair than I do going to the barber. So
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
I mean, I bought my own clippers to just kind of clip because it got to the point where I go to the barber, I'd sit in the chair for 5 minutes, they run the electric razor over there, and they put the mirror behind my head and say, done. And I
you're like,
realized,
that's the easiest money I've ever made.
and I was like, the price of a pair of clippers is about the same as the price of this haircut.
Yeah, yeah.
So after it got each haircut got more and more depressing, and then finally I just gave up on that and bought the clippers. But then I bought the razor, and
Yeah.
now I'm
So-
shiny head bull
So
Shannon.
basically, everybody, if you feel like you can't do it, someone that can't see can do their own hair. So
Yeah,
yeah,
and if you mess it up, it doesn't matter because it still looks good to you.
you know what? If I mess it up, I just go one clipper shorter and do it again.
The best way to predict the future is to create it. Sparky Toaster is reading my shirt. This is my favorite kind of shirt. Free.
Oh,
I got it at Microsoft. What do they call those conferences? The Microsoft
like Build?
Ignite.
Did you go to Build?
No, Ignite. Microsoft.
Oh, you went to
Ignite.
Ignite? Yeah.
Yeah,
They used to send me
yeah.
things all the time. I was on their list.
Oh, it was great, and
Yeah.
that was at the last job where they would pay for things like that.
Yeah.
This job is much better, but they don't got the deep pockets to send us to things.
They don't
like
have the
that.
swags.
Well, I mean, they got deep pockets. They just are a little more
Well, the
mindful
reason they
of the
have the
budget.
deep pocket. Yeah.
The previous job I was at, they were pretty much like expense it and we'll pay it. Here was the thing that was stupid. So I've told the story before. We were going to Microsoft Ignite, and me and Nordine were both going. So I'm like, well, hey, Nordine, tell me what hotel you book a room at. I'll book a hotel at the same room so we can share Ubers or stuff, because there's no sense in us rooming in completely separate places. We're going to be there together, or well, not together,
Well,
but yeah.
separate rooms.
Right. We
but
don't
same
have to go
place.
to
Yeah,
all the
yeah,
same
yeah.
conferences, but we're both there from the same company to the same event, so we'll probably spend
You
time
can at least
together.
share an Uber ride or something here and there.
Right. So tell me
Yeah.
what hotel you book. Well, the thing is, he waited till the last minute to book a hotel, so they all booked up. So he ended up booking. The only place he found that still had rooms was this place that booked these suites for families.
Aw, that's adorable.
So he booked a suite. He told me the name of the place. I booked a suite because he didn't invite me to crash in his suite. Even though these suites were multi-bedroom suites, we could have shared a
Oh,
suite.
you can sleep in a different bed every night.
It was. This suite, it had a living room area, a master bedroom area with its own bathroom, a separate bathroom, a kitchen, laundry area, another guest room,
that
It
was my
was
thought, Dune.
yeah,
You know, I'm gonna say,
Nordine.
how much was that a night? You think about 300, 400 bucks a night?
It was expensive. I don't remember.
Okay.
Dune and Sparky both asked it in it. Nordine.
Yeah.
He knows how
Yeah.
to speak French. He spent some time in France, but I think there's some roots from Africa as well. He's kind of
Sounds sus. I agree.
sounds sus.
Oh.
Well, his name is not why he's a tool. The way he acts is why he's a tool. But Nordine was the boss that really made me want to quit. Part of the reason why I quit my last job, because he,
Well, Nordine helped you get rid of Saul at least.
yeah. Well, here's the thing about Nordine, though. Nordine, personally, I liked the guy. I had no problem going out for a drink with the guy, having a conversation with him, spending free time with him. I mean, when we were at Microsoft Ignite, we would, after the conferences, we go grab a meal together, go get some drinks together, have a good time. You know, we got along well enough, but professionally, we had a problem. And the problem is that, first of all, we didn't see eye to eye on things. And, I very much have a position that if I disagree with you, I'm going to tell you, but I'm also going to carry out your orders or whatever your decision is, because you're the number one, I'm the number two. I get that. But I'm going to tell you when I disagree with you.
Well, that's the relationship between a boss and a
Right.
not boss.
But he kept fucking things up. And I kept trying to tell him he was fucking things up. Well, it got to the point where there were other people, there was a guy that was friends with him. Mm-hmm. And at some point I was talking, and this guy that used to be friends with Nordine, he resigned and moved on to another position. And his last day, he came and he talked to me and he said, look, I just want to take a moment to talk to you, to just basically say, if you need a reference for anything, if you're job hunting, put me down. And I did use him for a reference. And so that was really nice of him. And I guess we talked a little bit about, because we all knew that the reason people were leaving left and right was because things suck. So we were kind of talking about how things suck and hey, good for you. You got something. I'm still looking. And, this is going on. And I start saying some things about Nordine. I'm like, I guess I probably shouldn't talk about He's like, dude, have you seen me swinging by to say hi to him? I stopped talking to him. And I'm like, dude, why? He's like, he just never. If I need to know what's going on, I come to you because you actually tell me what's going on. You tell it how it is.
Nordine just pressure.
Nordine just puts on a smile and a laugh and says, "Oh, whatever,"
Yeah, I've had that before.
Yeah, and that was the thing. Now here's the thing that really gets me about Nordine that I could never make sense out of. Nordine was a fail upward type of guy, at least in this instance. Because I was hired to backfill Nordine's position when he was promoted to be the help desk lead. So that means that Nordine did my job for a number of years. Mm-hmm. So that means that if I were to get stuck in something in my job that hadn't come up to me previously, I should be able to turn to him and ask him, what should I do in this situation? And A, as the team lead, and B, as someone who has previously done my job, he should be able to come up with an answer. Well, logically, he should be able to come up with an answer. I don't think that dude ever once helped me with anything.
Well, think of it this way. After you go to algebra, you take your classes, and the day after algebra, you forget everything you've ever learned. It's exactly what it is to become a manager. You go, oh yeah, I think I was in that job before. I forgot everything. That's not my job now. Enjoy.
Here's the thing. If you take algebra and you pass algebra, and then you go on into a non-math related career, it's fine to forget algebra. But if you take algebra and you pass algebra and you're promoted to the algebra teacher, you don't forget algebra.
Well, no, you can forget algebra. Remember, you had the book
teaching the algebra.
But no, you had the book with the answers. You don't need to remember it.
Dune wants to know if that tool's still there. I'd have to still be in contact with that tool to know if he's still
Just open
there.
up your LinkedIn and
But
see if he's asking for
Not
offers.
everyone is diligent in keeping their LinkedIn up to date, but
Oh.
according to his LinkedIn, I believe he is still there. But it's been a while since I've looked at my LinkedIn, so let me take a
I
look.
think my LinkedIn is. I forgot the password about when LinkedIn first started. I think I signed up and I never used it.
Let's see. He is. Let's. His experience is that he is still at Enel as the manager IT infrastructure
Oh,
and
there you go.
services.
There you go.
Which
Hopefully
means either he's still there or he hasn't updated his LinkedIn.
Well, honestly, if you're in a managerial position and you know how to kiss the right butts, you don't need to leave and you just make more money.
I mean, but that's every time I went to him for help, his answer was a smile and a laugh and going, "Oh, I'm sure you'll figure it out." I mean, that's the.
Oh.
Dune writes in, "Heaven forbid anyone ever applies for a job where I am with a name from your past. They are toast just for having the same name." Nordines need not apply.
Yes, yes. He's gonna have to use his middle name. It's probably Nordine Halifax something else.
No, I don't even know how to pronounce his middle name or his last name. I only remembered how to pronounce Nordine.
There you go. There you go.
Yeah, but that guy, he just Nick, my Fong, Brian. Here's the thing. Brian is good. Brian's a good guy, but he's also retired.
Yeah, but
he
he probably does more now with his life than he did when he actually worked. So he's probably exhausted all the time.
Here's the thing. I hold no
Yeah.
hard feelings towards my Fong. I do still think that Nordine's a tool, but I have nothing but good things to say about my Fong right now. Now, sure, I have stories about times I was frustrated with her, but she's also got stories about times she was frustrated with me, and they're usually reverse sides of the same story. I was, and you know what? I don't blame my Fong for still figuring out how to be a supervisor when she was tasked with being a supervisor for the first time with only one person without any real training on that.
Yeah.
She
you do the best you can with something like that. Honestly.
She took classes and training for like sysadmin, server admin, exchange admin, things like that. I don't think she was taking managerial training. I think it was basically like you've done the tech part, you've got the certifications, the position's open, you got it. Oh, by the way, part of your responsibilities is to be this dude's manager. And go.
She's like, great, I just got another kid, thanks.
So, there was some growing pains there. And at the time, I did hold some hard feelings towards her at periods of time, but we also got over them. And then I think the thing is having a common enemy helps you grow closer. Now, Toon writes in, "Oh, don't kid yourself. I would never be able to put up with you." In the workplace, you don't really have a choice.
He's
Well,
like,
you
I have
do.
To know him, I guess.
Well, you do, but the choice is put up with this dumbass or take my chances with the next dumbass. Those are your options. And I mean, you could get another shit sandwich, or you get a shit sandwich with cheese. But you never know what you're gonna get.
Pardon my language.
But with cheese. I still love that expression. That's the thing, at times I was a dumbass. At times I'm probably difficult to deal with, but I got the job done, and the end users love me. I mean, that's the thing. At Enternock, I probably pushed things as far as I could push things without getting fired at times. But in my defense, Nordine was a tool, and I knew they couldn't afford to let me go, and I was getting ready to quit anyways. But yeah, by the end of my time, I was basically just calling out Nordine for all his dumbassness, by every chance I got, and then
Well, I bet you he was glad when you left. He's like, thank God I don't have someone telling me I'm a dumbass anymore.
it was really for the best for both of us, or for all involved. When I and mind you, maybe I'm exaggerating a little bit, but yeah, there basically when we were in company meetings. If I disagreed with him, I would make my case and I'd point out all the problems with this. And so, yeah, it turned into a bit of an argumentative, tense thing. But I always felt like I was doing it for a reason. I was trying to do my best to make this situation the best it could be, because we had a really shitty hand with a really shitty corporate structure that didn't give a shit about us. And we had to support a situation that was spiraling out of control. And it's like, dude, we've got to fix these things. We've got to get answers to these questions. We've got to find who has answers to these questions. We've got to figure out how this machine works. We can't just laugh it off and say, oh, it'll get done. We've got to figure out how to get it done. That's all of our jobs. And Nordine, you lead us. This is your responsibility to figure this out.
Very great. I'm going to plug.
I'll help you every way I can. I'll tell you everything I know, but this is your. Well, he took issue with me when I'd say, this is your team. And he'd go, what? You're not a part of this team too? This isn't my team. This is our team. I'm like, yeah, but you're the leader. It is not my place to make these decisions for you. It's not my place to start representing our team to other. You need to make these contacts. You need to figure out what we need to do.
You go, hey,
what are you doing?
You go, you know what, Nordine? If I'm going to lead the team, I need your pay. That's what you tell him. If you want me to lead the team, give me your pay. That's what we do.
Once there was a time I probably would have been happy to take his job and push him off the edge, given the
I
opportunity.
I would never want to be a team leader. I would never want to be a team leader. I couldn't do it. It's too much stress. Too many people yelling and screaming at you. Too many people saying you're doing it wrong, and another person saying you're doing that wrong. Don't listen to them. It's too much. I don't think I'd ever want to be a team leader. Never be a head of BU. I couldn't do it.
In the right environment, I could see myself being an IT team lead, as long as I'm still, but as long as I have the room and the scope and the time to be someone that will also, if my coworkers come to me because they're having problems with a ticket, I have enough time in my schedule to say, let's look at this ticket, let's solve this one together. Or, to still have my hands on the queue and still do things, to guide them, to train them, to bring in new people and train them up, to be a part of the team, but at the top of the team that it all falls. I could, but I'd have to be someplace where I have a structure that supports me. And I feel like in my current job, my managers are very supportive to me.
As long as you're okay with your entire team questioning things here and there and talking to each other. I mean, that's the thing. A team lead, I hate to say it, even if you're a team, no matter what BU you're in or anything, people are going to look at the person leading you and say they're not doing anything, whether you are or not, because they don't know. They don't always know what you're doing, but they're going to say, oh, you're not doing something, or this needs to be done, this needs to be done. That's the only problem. If you're okay with that, even though you need to have this self-confidence and say, yeah, I'm doing things right. You guys need to listen to what I'm doing. Then I think you'd be a great team lead on stuff like that. That's great. I have to say, I know it's stupid. I've been through many different things where I've had to lead a couple people in something, or even stupid projects back to the high school and college. You have to be the lead of a stupid group to do an assignment or something, and dumbass people go, oh, I'm sick today. I'm like, doesn't mean you can't work on your stupid project at home. Do that. Go. Do it. We expect this tomorrow. You're part of the team. If you don't get your stuff done, we can't get our stuff done. And people just let you down. And it's a shame for me to even go off about that, but it's annoying. And so after a while, I said, I'm going to be the peon sitting in the corner, and I'll do my part of the job, but I'm not leading this group. Someone else has to do it. I'm done with that. That's why in a corporate environment, I could never be a team lead. I know too well how people react and how they do stuff. That's
I know I couldn't do it at Internoc because I knew I had no support from above. And that's where, and so at that point, I guess I sympathize some with, I would sympathize some with Nordine if he at least tried. But, he wouldn't, it was, I don't know.
I think you also need to know yourself, honestly.
but-
Yeah.
But let's keep in mind, at my time at Internoc, the head of IT had a sign hanging on his wall in his office that had a nice circle printed on it with an inscription inside the circle that said "Bang Head Here," because that
I
is
approve. I approve. Not the good toast.
So that was not the good toast. But it was, and so that's the thing, is that there was nowhere we could go up within our environment for support. But the problem is that Enel built out a automated portal system that if you needed something to be done or something to be created, it was all done by one of the various offshore teams that were contracted out to do these things. And the only way you could request the correct offshore team to do the thing that needed to be done was to submit a ServiceNow request with the right information filled out that was categorized properly so that it would automatically get to the right team so that they would do the right thing and send you the right information. And we had no idea who these teams were or where they were. So sometimes we get a call from someone that would go, I just started my new job I just got a new supervisor last week, and he's an L guy, and he said that I need to have access to the Flarf Grab system.
Not the Flarf Grab.
And he said that IT should be able to set me up. I just need to get a request in for access to the Flarf Grab system. And I'm like, I have no idea what the fuck a Flarf Grab system is.
You know what? That's a very important system.
And
everybody should have access to a Flarf Grab once in their life.
And so then I'd have to spend the next hour looking through ServiceNow fields trying to find anything that references Flarf Grab. And if I didn't, or if I did, and then I'd fill out a request and I'd try to fill out things and I submit it. And then if it didn't have one piece of information that was needed, or if something was filled out wrong or went to the wrong place, the way these offshore contracts work, there was no direct contact with anyone. So they had their very strict, specific instructions to follow. And the rule was, if it comes in and it doesn't have what it needs, you can just close it. And so I can't tell you how, and that is not ever how I have worked or how I have interacted with people that work. That is just something that was completely foreign to me, that a request comes in, it doesn't have what you need, you just close it and don't even explain why you're closing it. That's just, nope, you didn't do it right, closed. And it like that's like calling for help and like, well, you didn't say please, and then slamming the phone down, which okay, to be fair, that's an acceptable time to do that. But
911, you got the wrong number, sorry.
911, you didn't say please.
Oh, God.
So, yeah. So, but the thing is that that's the way these contracts work, is that they were just offshore. They were just teams that had a script, or not even a script, because they were dealing tickets, not even on the phone. And they just had it was all automated. And that's the thing, is that giant corporations can only operate with automation built out that's farmed out to these types of call centers that are global. This is why companies shouldn't get that big, because they only work in ways that are impossible to deal with, and no one knows how it works by the time you get it working. And then when you bring in a completely new, when a huge corporation that's built out with that type of an automated process acquires a large company, they can't train that whole large company on everything, because the answer to everything was, you got to submit it through the portal. It's in the portal. Well, did you go to the portal? Did you put it in the portal? Okay, where am I going? What am I putting in? What's the right thing to select? Well, I don't know, but it's in the portal.
There's also lots of drop downs and clickies and check marks. That's where you select it. And the little you type in, the better results are.
But they were too big to fail, I guess, and so they just too
No,
big to
yeah.
succeed. More like.
Well, the good news is you're not working there anymore, so that's a
Yeah,
plus.
no, yeah, I don't. That's the thing. When things get so bad that you see everyone around you abandoning ship, I wonder how do the people that stick around deal with it? How do they? How
They're
do
like, I'm staying. I'm hoping I
How?
get a pay raise for this.
how? I mean, there were people that genuinely like were invested in this company because, like, one of the guys that because there are people that you know, there's two types of people: the people that will send LinkedIn requests to everyone at the company, and the people that don't. And you find out who they are when all the requests come through your LinkedIn. But
Yeah, people would stick around, just quiet quit.
no, like there's a guy that comes to mind at the last job that every company meeting he always stood up and asked questions about how the business was doing or what they're planning to do about this, or like he was following the business and what
He's a
they were
busybody.
doing.
Okay, that's
And
fine.
he always had the
Yeah.
questions for the leaders of what are you doing about this? Well, what about this?
I'm sure the leaders
I'm
hated him,
concerned
huh?
about that. Oh, well, I think he asked good and valid questions, and he still
Yeah.
works there, and
Yeah.
he's been promoted a few times.
Oh,
So
good.
it's like
Good job.
dude's invested in this company,
Yeah.
and dude's ambitious in this company, and dude's
That's
like,
good.
and I'm like,
We need a lot of people like that.
and I'm like, but that company sucks so hard. How could you be invested in this shit show? But he is.
He's probably like, you know what? I'm making a 6-figure income. I don't care. That's probably what he's saying.
But Dune writes in, and the people who never ever had or will never have LinkedIn.
I have LinkedIn. I don't think I've ever set it up though. That shows you how much I care.
You know, it's the thing about any social media is sometimes you find out things about people that you just otherwise
What's
wouldn't.
LinkedIn? Oh, Mod Pro, you Zoomer.
Like there was a dude at PCA that I briefly worked with on one of the migrations. Good guy, was actually pretty high up, and after we worked together that week on the migration, he sent me a LinkedIn request, and I'm like, oh, high up dude LinkedIn requested me. I'm going to accept that one. That's a good contact to have. And in fact, he when I and he left before PCA before I left PCA. And then when I left PCA, he sent me a private message congratulating me on escaping from PCA.
Yeah, see, there you go. He must
And then
he must
and
have
then I
known things they didn't tell anybody.
And I said thanks. And then some years later, I started seeing that LinkedIn has turned into more of a social media type of site, so that
Yeah,
you can
that's
just
become
kinda,
Facebook
and-
Lite, honestly.
and when it turned into Facebook Lite, I saw he started posting things about the election conspiracies and it was stolen and blah blah
Oh.
blah. And I'm like,
oh,
you're
are you
one
gonna
of
unfollow
them.
that one? Can you silent unfollow?
I didn't unfollow him. Everyone's entitled to their opinion, but it's
Yeah,
like
yeah.
I thought you were all right, and I still kind of do, but really. But anyways, whatever.
Well,
Whatever. I'm not going to hold it against him. I'm just going to talk about it behind his back to the internet.
Well, he's probably watching right now. Hi, guy that Gators follows
He's
on
got
LinkedIn.
better things to do with his time.
Are you sure about that? He's posting the LinkedIn Facebook Lite.
Oh, okay. Touche. You have a point. You have a point.
Yeah.
I don't know. Anyways. Well, at least he's not a flat earther.
Yeah, the show. Where is he now?
Where is he now?
Yes.
now? You know what? Let me
Yeah, go check your Facebook Lite.
let's see if he's unfollowed me.
He's like,
I don't post
"Oh."
anything to it. So no,
No.
he's an experienced IT leader.
there you go.
He's still in the state where he was in. I don't know what else there is to do in that state besides PCA. But
Dude needs a list of all your former tools.
let's see. Our liar in chief, unfreaking believable. FBI director to be held in contempt of Congress. Children are their target. Groom dogs, not kid. Oh God, really, really, dude? Why did I pull this up?
That's when you see. And the thing is, sometimes you just have to look at it and say, "Wow, they're okay." and then
Okay.
just close it and just keep going on with life. That's what
he
you have to
did.
do.
He did post a nice Happy Mother's Day greeting to all the mothers of the world. So he's a good.
Oh, there you go.
He's a,
So
so he's a
at least he has
fam-
some-
he's a
value
family
there. That's
guy.
good.
He's
Yeah,
a family
yeah, yeah.
guy.
That's
You know.
good.
But
Sorry for his family right now, but you know.
but yeah, he's still in the same state that he was in, and
Okay.
he's working for the state.
Oh, that's good. He's
Yeah.
making some dollars. He's got good benefits though. That's great.
That's the thing. Whatever state
Yeah.
you live in, one of the employment options is the state itself. So like
There
when
you
I
go.
was job hunting in Maine, I found that basically there were three types of IT jobs in Maine. There were colleges, and there were colleges, there were hospitals, and there was the state itself. Those are the three biggest IT opportunities in the state of Maine, and I think every state has those. So that's pretty much. But that dude's not a tool. That dude's.
I feel
not.
so bad for a lot of IT in colleges. The reason is, all colleges always it grows so fast and things are always changing so much. I feel for them. I do. I mean, I've seen schematics for our college. I've seen how they've done that, and they're constantly expanding and changing and computer. I'm like, I feel horrible for you. Thank God there's many people that they distribute across campuses because it would drive me nuts after a while.
Speaking of conspiracy theories in colleges, here's a situation I ran into that was really. It's one of these situations where I'm like, dude, what the hell was your motivation on that? So I had a roommate. I had a few roommates. I had 3 out of 4 years in college I had roommates. Finally got the single room senior year. But junior year, I roomed with a dude by the name of Jim. Dude was unique. He was a double major in German and English education, meaning that he is probably out there teaching and corrupting our youth. And it's a little scary to think about this dude's going to be a teacher when you watch him getting passed out on pills and alcohol on the weekend, and then waking up the next morning and acing all his tests and maintaining like a 4
Was he the
point
guy with
something.
the ravioli?
No, that was Mike Mann.
Okay,
Was the
never
guy with
mind.
the ravioli. Mike Mann was probably just sticking to the booze more than and pills or other things.
Don't take pills, guys.
And he was, and Mike Mann was in hotel restaurant management. He's probably middle management at a hotel somewhere in Pennsylvania.
Okay. If it
Sparky's
makes-
probably run into him behind a counter while checking in for the weekend.
Oh, good, good.
Why would someone in Pennsylvania need to stay at a hotel in Pennsylvania?
You know what, Sparky?
This makes no sense.
Sparky, just give him a random can of ravioli and say, everyone knows it's okay.
I just love that someone plastered photocopies of that picture of him laughing on the floor with a can of ravioli in his hand trying to eat it all over the campus with the caption, "Have you seen this man?" Because his last
you know
name
what?
was
That's caught it. That's,
Man.
That's yeah.
Mike Mann. I can't find him anywhere on social media. This is a dude that we need to call on this show sometime if we can find him.
Oh.
We need to call this dude. This is the dude that I got the Super 8 movie of him dropping trow, which I strategically kept the camera angle up high enough to
Yeah.
to keep the trow out of shot. But
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, but it was funny at the time. No, but anyways, why was
Jim, your roommate, right?
Jim was my roommate. We did not get along all that well. He said I was too conservative.
Oh. Okay.
And I'm not joking about that. He said I was too conservative.
Okay.
And
Well,
we
that's because you
did.
didn't take enough pills, apparently. You take more pills, you wouldn't be as conservative, sir.
I didn't start drinking till senior year.
I didn't say
So
drinking. I said pills.
I was pretty straight edge
Yeah,
up till
I know.
senior year.
Yeah.
I but
The
then I
gummies
turned
were not involved till later.
right. So we roomed together junior year, and we kept things civil. Things never got violent between us. That's the way Jim described our rooming experience. It's like, well,
And
things
that's
never.
honestly how roommates should be. Just kind of like they do their thing, you do your thing, and go on.
Right. So then senior year, I got a single room for myself in a house that was on the edge of the campus on the main street.
Wow, that's pretty good.
Yeah. And then the second semester, someone in one of the rooms dropped out. And so Jim ended up filling in that room. Although that was a room that had that was a 2-man room, so he had a roommate in that room, but he was basically just across the hall from me at that point. And I always knew that that would be the room to hang out at because he always kept the room stocked with booze.
He's in a new place. He could have just said no more of that. Sorry.
Why did I start bringing up Jim?
Because you wanted to talk about Jim and oh God, what was it? You said you were conservative. I don't know.
Before that, though, what? Conspiracy. That's right. So the thing about the house on the edge of campus was that they hadn't run a T1 connection out to that house yet.
Oh, boo.
So we had to dial in to the dial-in banks in the IT department to get campus internet.
That must have sucked.
So we basically had free dial-up service. It sucked, but it was adequate enough to get into the Sailor Moon chat rooms, which was most of what I cared about at that point, anyways.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you tell people, hey, I got my own place, you know?
I do remember the first time I joined the Sailor Moon chat room drunk off my ass, I made the topic.
Oh, there you go. There you go.
I don't know if you remember that.
Those are always the days
You
when
were-
you get to make
you
your
were
own,
there.
where you get to make the topic, honestly.
Yeah, that was the day that I asked my girlfriend, "Who are you?" because she kept changing her screen names. But we told that story recent enough already.
Yes.
But the point of this story is one day the dial-up service stops working. And I was able to work around it because I had they always kept free AOL discs at the mailbox, and we used to wedge them in between the siding cracks. So I usually would just sign up for some kind of free dial-up option or something like that, and to work around the issue here and there. I had a NetZero account, I had a Juno account, so I was doing things like that. But there was one, and usually the outage would come back in a few hours or in a day at the most. But one time the dial-up goes down, and the next day it's still down, and the next day it's still down. And so Jim goes, "Oh, I went to the computer office and they told us that they're not fixing the problem. Like, it's too expensive to fix." I'm like, "What?" He goes, "Yeah, this major part went out and they don't have the budget to fix it. So anyone that's relying on dial-up's just out of luck." And I'm like, "Holy shit, what the fuck is up with that? How dare those assholes screw us over like that?" And I was pissed. And Jim set his wallpaper to be captioned with, "Why is there no internet? Because the assholes can't afford to use our tuition money to fix the equipment." He was telling the story all around the house, and we're all getting fired up and we're all pissed off. And so I decided, that's it. I'm going to say what's what. I'm going to go march into that IT department. I'm going to ask them what the fuck their problem is. And so I storm out of the dorm room. I walk across the campus over to the IT office. It's a nice spring day out and the birds are chirping and, things aren't that bad. And I calm down and I walk into the IT office and I remember I'm facing and talking to another human being who deserves my respect. And I walked up and I said with a mild agitation in my voice, "Hi, I was coming to see if there was an update on the dial-up situation." And he goes, "Dial-up situation?" He's like, "Yeah, well, the dial-up's been out in our houses for a while, and I've heard that, it's a big problem or it might be problem getting it fixed, but I want to get an update from the IT department itself." And the guy goes, "We haven't heard anything about this. There's certainly not a problem that we're not going to fix, but let me," and a half hour later, dial-up was back up.
Oh, your dumbass friend is like, yeah, I didn't do anything about it. Just made something up.
He made the whole
Dude,
thing
did you punch him?
up.
Did you go back and punch him?
I never confronted him on that because he was much bigger than me.
I would have said, dude, entire building. Guess what? Dumbass over here made the whole thing up so none of us could look at our stuff.
On the one
Great.
hand, on the one hand, Jim completely lied to us and got us all pissed off at an entire department unfairly. On the other hand, I carried myself well and didn't embarrass myself over it. And on the other hand, Jim also provided free booze every weekend in his room. So Jim can go tell all the lies he wants to. Gators just needs to make sure to keep his anger in check, which I did adequately. So all in all, it was...
See, you guys are lucky I'm not there since I don't drink alcohol. I would have been down there to IT. It actually, my internet addiction, I would have been down to IT in about 3.7 seconds and say, fix your shit. Fix it. Fix it.
Sparky writes in, Johnny is not a fighter. Wait, how long was dial-up out? It was out multiple days by this point.
Dude, I'm sorry, 25 minutes, that thing better be. When my Comcast goes out for like 15 minutes, I'm like, oh my God, what am I going to do?
Well, I was using NetZero and Juno accounts to work around the issue. So I
do workarounds, excuse me. I'm going to figure out what's wrong. There were many times when
Mars, you work in IT. Your whole livelihood is workarounds.
Yeah, exactly. But when I was working, there was times when my building would be out, and I'm like, what's going on? What's going on? I need this. There's a class in 25 minutes. We need to have this up. So my butt was on the phone with IT. What's going on, guys? And they're like, oh, we updated some stuff. We'll have that up in an hour or two. I'm like, fine with me. Lab's canceled. I'm going home. Bye. That was they're like, well, I mean, you can't just cancel. I'm like, it's a lab. We use the internet. It's important. So guess what? No internet, no class. Yeah.
But it's funny that, like, I just don't get, why did Jim need to make up that story? What was his goal there? To just antagonize it or piss? I mean, did he want someone to go postal on the IT department? Like, who just makes up shit like that? So that was the conspiracy theory.
Apparently Jim does.
Yeah. But I also was floored that the dial-up could be down for that long without the IT department being made aware of it, because there were multiple buildings.
Yes.
That
Jim
used
equals
this.
tool.
Yes.
I agree.
Now, Dune wants to know if my parents tried to get me to go to school locally. Well, no, but they tried to get all my other siblings to go to school locally after me. Now, Sparky writes in, what did you say to Jim? Or what did he... I don't remember. I know I didn't confront Jim because I was not... But I might have said, oh, I actually went to the IT department. They weren't aware of it. I think I may have mentioned, they weren't even aware of it. Well, I told other people. I immediately started telling other people, hey, I talked to the IT department. They didn't know about the problem and they're working on it. So, hey, it's all good. And it was very so I don't know if I told Jim directly or if he indirectly heard that I went and told those people. We never really spoke about it. I just showed up at his room for the next party the next weekend and we got wasted. That was about it.
I guess you got benefits out of it anyway. I get your but still.
Well, the problem with Jim though is he always bought the cheapest beer you can find.
The Mickey's Big Mouth.
No, I think he bought beer that was made in Latvia.
Did that have? Did that have? Was it just like little bottles of isopropyl alcohol? What was that?
It tasted very metallic. It had a metallic flavor to it.
Oh.
It was adequate for playing asshole.
Okay.
That's all we really needed was enough beer to get buzzed and play asshole. Actually, usually I didn't even drink the beer to get buzzed. Usually I do a few shots to get buzzed because Jim always had good liquor and good wine. I was never much of a wine drinker, but I'd, take a shot or two of his good liqueur. And then I, grab a bottle of beer, start dealing the cards and play a few hands of asshole, just swigging the beer anytime the game called on it. And
it's one of those beers that after one, you don't care anymore.
Yeah. Now, Dune writes in, so did everyone have a modem line? Well, the people in this building all did. We all had phone lines that would dial into the phone modem. I don't know how many phone banks, but they had enough to accommodate, because several of their buildings, Most of the buildings had T1s, but they had a few of the nicer roomings that were kind of off campus or on the edges or outskirts of campus that were not connected to the T1. Now the thing is the building I was in was wired with Ethernet jacks, but the building itself was not they didn't run a line to connect the building itself to the campus network. But the building, when they did it, they wired it up. So there were future plans to get the T1 out to that building. Although the school doesn't own that building anymore, so I don't know if that ever happened. Anyways, Sparky wrote in, leave Jim a Facebook message tonight telling him the dial-up is fixed. Sparky wins the internet. You know, there's another dude I have not been able to track down on social media, although Jim has a very common last name. So I don't know that he has a Facebook account. It's been a while since I've looked, but he seems to be the type of dude that would stay off the social media anyways.
If he's still around.
Yeah,
honestly.
I
hope so. I hope so.
He's probably teaching somewhere, you know.
He's teaching. Oh no.
Yeah, no, he was very serious about it, but he was also serious about, you know, getting his, you know, party on the weekends too. But he maintained an above 4.0 grade point average.
That's pretty good.
So,
pretty good.
But yeah,
He probably, you know, these days he's probably like, my college days. We don't talk. I don't remember those, but I passed it all.
All right, I'm just gonna Google. No, that's not the right Jim. That's not the right Jim. This dude's pretty much invisible on the internet. I have not found a trace of him since college. Yeah. So it's not Smith.
Is it Bean? Is it Jim Bean?
It's not Bean or Beam. I don't even know if it's Feeney, which is pretty common, and Jim's a pretty common name.
Beanie? Wasn't he the teacher in
Boy Meets World?
Yeah. Beanie.
Feeney.
He was also Kit from Knight Rider.
Yes, he was. And the surgeon on St. Elsewhere.
Oh, that's right. He was the surgeon on St. Elsewhere. I forgot about that. Oh my God.
TV Land reran St. Elsewhere in the mornings when I was in college.
Oh,
Yeah.
I probably watched Samurai Pizza Cats on regular TV in college.
Yeah.
In
Well,
the
my
morning
freshman
for-
year of college, I pretty much kept the TV tuned to TV Land because the TV would do two things: one, play TV Land, or two, play Japanese Sailor Moon VHS tapes.
Oh, there's that too.
Yeah, that was when.
Well,
LeVar
I would
was
also
using
watch
the
the
TV.
English ones on TV. So
Yeah.
in the mornings.
Dune writes in, was he a musical dude too? He was double majoring in education majors. He didn't have room for anything academic as far as music goes. But yes, he played piano and organ. I think he would also play organ for weddings to make money on weekends.
Yeah, you know that works.
And he got in on with some of the people in the music department because through his ability to play the organ, he was able to secure a key to the organ in the chapel so that he can kind of go jam out on some In-A-Gadda-Da-Vida if he wanted to. Not that he actually literally did that, but at least a few times he went to hang out in the chapel while he kind of jammed on the organ a bit.
That's cool.
So yeah, yeah. A dude writes in, it was a liberal arts college, a normal school too. It was a liberal arts college. It had a science department, a English education. Music recording was part of the music department. The music department had music education, music performance, and music recording technology. And there was also Englishes and sciences and sports. And we were it's a liberal arts college. I went to a liberal arts college.
So Sparky, a lot of times when you got to a lot of people who made copies from tapes from Japan and brought them over, they would convert them from the PAL format, which is actually it's a little faster than what we have.
Yeah.
It's a little faster, so it would convert it from PAL to NTSC. So we would when we watched it, it would look normal again.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what LeVar had, but someone made him VHS dubs of episodes that were not ever dubbed to English.
Yeah.
But they also didn't have subtitles. And I was like, but how are you going to understand what's going on? He's like, oh, I read episode summaries before I watch it.
Yeah.
So
I used to do that.
Right. So he'd still watch this, episode. You couldn't understand a word being said. But he had a summary, so he kind of tried to fill in the blanks the best he could.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of people did really good notes on a lot of the episodes and stuff. They really did. Because I used to do the same thing. Because there was stuff I just watch. I'm like, I have no idea what they're saying. But you read the summary beforehand, you can kind of get what's going on.
Right. And at some point they did dub a lot of the episodes, and I mean, but when they dubbed the episodes, they changed certain plot points because they were the two Sailor Scouts that were originally lovers, but they became cousins.
Well, now you can actually
Sailor-
watch they redubbed it all, the Gators, so you can watch the original stuff on Hulu now.
They re-redubbed it to be correct.
Yeah.
You're saying?
Yeah, they redubbed it.
Because
The
Sailor Saturn and Sailor Neptune
Yeah.
that were lovers.
Oh, and wait until you get to Stars. Oh my goodness! Ask your wife about Sailor Stars. She'll be like, got some stuff to tell you.
Dune writes in, oh, okay, I thought it was like that 70s music school movie. What, Fame? No, I went to a liberal arts college. That was nothing like any movie. It was, I don't know.
What about Breakfast Club? Was it like Breakfast Club?
Well,
No, that was high school.
No, that was high school. That was, and I didn't,
What about Flashdance? No.
Flashdance? No, that was,
How about Dirty Dancing?
Dirty Dancing.
No.
No. That's...
You wish, but no.
Why are you naming all my mom's favorite movies now?
Because I have a copy of them all down here. I actually have the DVDs of all those, so never mind. Well, okay, my big thing, okay, I'll tell you guys. My big thing was I used to go to Fry's Electronics, and I would go to the dollar bin section. I mean,
yeah.
you know how that goes, right?
Right. I know all about dollar bin. Yeah.
Yes, the $3 to $5 DVDs, and I would look for all the '80s stuff. Like I got some pretty good movies. I love these movies. And then what I do, I take them home, I rip them to my hard drive, and then I just put them on my shelf because it's easier going through a list of stuff than to actually plug. By the way, did you figure out your Plex problem?
My plugs problem.
Plex.
Oh, Plex.
Plex.
I did get it to work again.
Uh-huh.
And oh my God, Crazy Eddie. I actually posted a Crazy Eddie commercial to YouTube that I've not seen elsewhere.
Was it with him and the donkey? I've seen that one.
No, this one was just one of these really short ones that came on. It was on one of my Friday night videotapes. So
how about the one with him and the dog with the antlers on it?
No, this is one. He's wearing a Santa suit. But,
Okay.
Yeah. No,
yes, it's a plumbing pipe. Gators needs to get his Plex fixed again.
No, yeah, the Plex. It just. I don't know. I probably need to just rebuild a new server from scratch and figure out what makes the most sense. It's just that I've got this RAID 5 with 3 multi-terabyte drives that has exceeded the size of my backup external drive. So my latest backup is a bit stale. But one of these days, I just need to go to Crazy Eddie. He'll set me up with a new setup.
It's Crazy Eddie's greatest Christmas sale ever. Now's the time to get a new stereo system, video system, home computer, car stereo, video recorder, even the brand new compact disc player. It's Crazy Eddie's greatest Christmas sale ever. And Crazy Eddie's got the guaranteed lowest prices on anything and everything in home entertainment. Shop around, get the lowest sale prices you can find, then go to Crazy Eddie and he'll beat them. It's Crazy Eddie's greatest Christmas sale ever. Going on now at all Crazy Eddie locations. Crazy Eddie, his Christmas sale prices are insane.
He really was above his class, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Honestly, and think what it like. I mean, come on. 35, 40 years later, people are still talking about him. So he did his job correctly, honestly.
Insane. Dude wants to know where was that.
Insane.
Insane. Crazy Eddie, I think they were primarily based out of New York, but they expanded to New Jersey, and Sparky knows of them, so they must have gotten to Pensy. I don't know how far they went.
I knew about him because I could see, I saw a couple commercials in Indiana, so.
Oh.
Yeah.
I never knew how widespread the chain was, but I know they basically went bankrupt because of some huge, tax scam.
It was a tax evasion thing, wasn't it?
Tax evasion or something like that. A fraud. Almost from the beginning, Crazy Eddie's management engaged in various forms of fraud. The Antars, that's the family that owned the business, deliberately falsified their books to reduce or eliminate their taxable income. They also paid employees off the book and regularly skimmed thousands of dollars in cash earned at the shops. For every $5 Crazy Eddie reported as income, $1 was taken by the Antars. In 1979, the Antars began depositing much of this money, hundreds of thousands of dollars, in Israeli bank accounts. The Antar family skimmed an estimated $3 to $4 million per year at the height of their fraud. In one offshore bank account, the family deposited more than $6 million between 1980 and 1983. By 1983, it was becoming more and more difficult to hide the millions of illicit dollars. The Antars decided that the way to cover up their growing fraud was to take the company public. In preparation, Eddie initiated a scheme in 1979.
That's where you get the problem. You take something that's embezzling and making it public. That's not the smartest thing. No.
In preparation, Eddie initiated a scheme in 1979 to skim less each year. Since more income was actually being reported, this had the effect of showing drastically increasing profit margins. While the company's actual profits, taking into account skim profits from 1980 to 1983, increased approximately 13%, reported profits increased nearly 171%. Despite the misgivings of people closely associated with Crazy Eddie, the company held its initial public offering on September 13, 1984. Shares of the company sold initially for $8. By 1986, Crazy Eddie's stock was trading at more than $75 per share, split adjusted. Eddie recruited his cousin, Sam E. Antar, known as Sammy, to assist the company with its fraud. Sammy earned a degree in accounting in 1980 and served his apprenticeship with Penn and Horowitz, Crazy Eddie's auditor. In 1986, he was named Chief Financial Officer of the company. Sammy was informed that there was a $3 million deficit from the previous year's inventory fraud that needed to be hidden. Additionally, he was instructed to find ways to show a 10% growth in sales. One of Sammy's major schemes was a money laundering operation later known as the Panama Pump. Money that the Antars had deposited in Israeli banks was transferred to bank accounts in Panama. These accounts, opened using false names, then drafted payments to Crazy Eddie. This money was largely used to inflate same-store sales totals for the company. As a public company,
That's not a bad idea.
they just kept juggling money around to tell the story they wanted to tell. And I think the dudes ended up in jail at some point.
I'm going to tell you, though, that takes a lot of work to do. That's a full-time job on itself.
You may as well just be legit if you're going to do that much work.
I know, really. Because, they were making enough money. They could have just stopped embezzling and kept that and did that, honestly.
Yeah. Dude right said, holy crap. Yeah, that was Crazy Eddie. They were insane.
They were imprisoned.
Their prices and their books and their accounts are insane.
Yes. Wow.
Oh, man. But they had some great commercials, though. They absolutely had some great commercials. You know what? Before we wrap up the show, we're going to go into a little bit of overtime just sharing some of my downloaded Crazy Eddie commercials that I've collected over.
It's crazy.
Yeah, we're gonna go ahead. We're gonna get a little crazy here. Is what we're gonna do, because I have, just in case I were to someday disappear from YouTube, I've downloaded several Crazy Eddie commercials, and if I just bring up my, so here we go. Here's one from 1978.
Get a color TV or a Sony Betamax or a TV video game. Get it now, because Crazy Eddie can't be beat. With prices so low, he's practically giving it all away. Shop around, get the best prices you can find. Then go to Crazy Eddie, and Crazy Eddie will beat him. Remember,
was a
Crazy
little
Eddie
subdued.
guarantees you the
Yeah.
largest selection, professionally staffed service centers, and the guaranteed lowest prices. Crazy Eddie, his prices are
This is after a night of
insane.
drinking.
Yeah. That's
Beat the heat! Beat the heat with a
the
fan or
heat!
air
I like
conditioner
this
from
one.
Crazy Eddie. Get the guaranteed lowest sale prices anywhere on electric fans and air conditioners. It's going to be a long, hot summer, and the prices of electric fans and air conditioners are going to go up, up, up with the temperature. So get an electric fan or air conditioner on sale from Crazy Eddie now. Shop around. Get the lowest sale prices you can find. Then go to Crazy Eddie and he'll beat them. So be cool and beat the heat. See Crazy Eddie now. His prices are insane. It's Crazy Eddie's greatest 4th of July sale ever! And Crazy Eddie's exploding with savings on anything and everything in home entertainment during Crazy Eddie's greatest 4th of July sale ever! Shop around, get the lowest sale prices you can find, then see Crazy Eddie and he'll beat him! It's Crazy Eddie's greatest 4th of July sale ever! And Crazy Eddie's exploding with savings on anything and everything in home entertainment. Crazy Eddie, his prices are... insane.
What? That was not a
You
very
didn't get
insane
that
insane.
camcorder you really wanted for Christmas? No big deal. You can still get anything and everything in home entertainment and home appliances on sale now, because Crazy Eddie refuses to let Christmas end. Crazy Eddie's still celebrating Christmas with his greatest Christmas super sale ever. Remember, there's only one place to go for the guaranteed lowest sale prices, and that place is Crazy Eddie. And remember this too, it's never too late to do your Christmas shopping at Crazy Eddie, because Crazy Eddie's still celebrating Christmas with prices that are insane.
oh, here we go. Here's the Christmas in August sale.
What?
Winter Wonderland of Hot! Oh yeah! It's a summer sizzler of savings during Crazy Eddie's Christmas Super Sale in August. Save a bucket of bucks with the lowest sale prices ever on car stereos and portables during Crazy Eddie's Christmas in August car stereo and portable super sale. And when you see Crazy Eddie, enter for a chance to win a 4-day Jamaica vacation at the Wyndham Rose Hall Beach Hotel via the Jamaica Shuttle. See Crazy Eddie now. His Christmas in August super sale prices are insane.
Wow, I want to take a ride on the Jamaican shuttle.
Hold the mistletoe, because it's a Crazy Eddie Christmas blowout blitz. Crazy Eddie's got everything you could possibly need for Christmas, and it's all on sale now. TVs, VCR, stereo systems, telephones, telephone answering machines, anything and everything in home entertainment, and lots of home appliances, too. Remember, we are not undersold. We will not be undersold. We cannot be undersold, and we mean it. Santa knows that the best deals in town are at Crazy Eddie's during Crazy Eddie's Christmas blowout blitz. See Crazy Eddie now. His prices are insane. Hit me, hit me. Ha, ha, ha.
That's one of the better ones right there.
Nice, nice.
They're all throwing snowballs at him throughout
Good,
that entire
good.
thing. That's. I also got a collection
Yes.
of. I got a collection of outtakes. No. Dude writes in. Bodbro writes in. Dude, look at Santa. Dave Games for you writes in. Oh my God, I remember him. Hello, Dave. Dude writes in, so dude from Israel with Santa suit, air conditioner, and holding a giant firecracker.
Yes.
I've also got outtakes. I think these are probably still available on YouTube somewhere, so it's not like I got something super secret or unique here. But
Greatest Christmas sale ever! Get a new stereo system, video system, home computer, car stereo, video recorder, TV, radios, telephones, even home appliances. Crazy Eddie's got it all on sale now at the guaranteed lowest Christmas sale prices. Shop around, get the lowest sale prices you can find, then go to Crazy Eddie and he'll beat them. Crazy Eddie will not be undersold, and that's the Crazy Eddie guarantee. It's Crazy Eddie's greatest Christmas sale ever! Get anything and everything in home entertainment on sale now. You know, I ran out of gas.
Oh no.
oh,
He
It's
almost
Crazy Eddie's
made it.
greatest Christmas sale ever! Get a new stereo system, video system, home computer, car stereo, video recorder, TV, radios, telephones, even home appliances. Crazy Eddie's got it all on sale now, all at the guaranteed lowest sale prices. Shop around, get the lowest sale prices you can find, then go to Crazy Eddie and he'll beat him! It's Crazy Eddie. Oh, Jerry made a big mistake. Okay.
I
Oh.
didn't catch it.
Get a new stereo for Christmas! Get a new turntable, cassette deck, speakers, compact disc player, even a complete rack system! Get it now! I've screwed up the commercial. Let's start all over again. Guess what? You're right! It's Crazy Eddie's greatest microwave oven sale ever! Crazy Eddie's got all the major brands of microwave ovens: Panasonic, Sanyo, Sharp, Toshiba, and microwave cookware from
Wow.
It's Crazy Eddie's greatest microwave oven sale ever! Crazy Eddie's got all the major brands of microwave ovens: Panasonic, Sanyo, Sharp, Toshiba, and I just touched the... Sorry.
What the?
It's Crazy Eddie's greatest microwave oven sale ever! Crazy Eddie's got all the major brands of microwave ovens: Panasonic, Sanyo, Sharp, Toshiba, and microwave cookware from Corning and Regal. I get it... fucked up. It's Crazy Eddie's greatest microwave oven sale ever. Get all the best brands in microwave ovens and cookware during Crazy Eddie's greatest microwave oven sale ever. Crazy Eddie, his prices are... Whoops. Well, the idea was to say insane with, forget it. It's Crazy
right there
Eddie's
should've been
greatest
it
home
right there.
appliance sale. Get a new vacuum cleaner, coffee maker, ultrasonic room humidifier, toaster oven, popcorn maker, microwave oven. Oven. This is the oven. It's Crazy Eddie's greatest home appliance sale. Get a new vacuum cleaner, coffee maker, ultrasonic room humidifier, toaster oven, popcorn maker, microwave oven. Get oven.
Of them.
It's Crazy Eddie's greatest Christmas
said
sale ever. Get a
toaster,
vacuum cleaner,
Sparky.
popcorn maker. I didn't do too well this time.
Not that time.
This is it! It's Crazy Eddie's greatest home appliance clearance sale ever! Crazy Eddie's smashing prices to smithereens on everything in his humongous inventory of microwave ovens, vacuum cleaners, coffee makers, even popcorn makers and toaster ovens. Plus, Crazy Eddie's got an unbelievable selection of floor samples, all with manufacturer's guarantees and most priced at or below cost. It's Crazy Eddie's greatest clearance sale ever, going on now at all great Crazy Eddie locations with prices that are insane!
That,
I bought it!
honestly, I think that should have been it. If you hadn't said that
That
last
should
part.
have absolutely been it. That
That
should
would've
have
been
been. They should have
hilarious.
aired that one right
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
Of them.
Of them.
Of them. Of them.
I don't know. Is Crazy Eddie still alive?
Well, I don't think there is a. Now, the dude that's doing the commercials was hired by Crazy Eddie, and if that's who we're talking about, let's see, Jerry Carroll. In October 2020, Jerry Carroll passed away after suffering from cardiac arrest for many years.
Well, he used too much wind speaking.
Yeah.
His heart couldn't take it anymore. So it said, "Hey, Jerry, can you do the Crazy Eddie voice again?" He probably said, "What?" Boom. Dead.
Yeah, I seem to recall
Yeah, sad
Somewhere-
face is right.
somewhere on this Wikipedia page talks about, I think the guy was doing radio commercials, and Crazy Eddie liked the way that he read their copy for the radio ad,
really.
so they hired him. Dave writing it, I'm surprised he didn't have a heart attack during the ads. Jeez.
Surprised someone hasn't digitally edited a little bit of Coke nose on him during the show, during commercials.
Somewhere I got what's funny is, let me see if I can find it. Somewhere I got a thing with,
right now, Crazy Eddie's greatest video sale ever. Get a new
they did a Spanish language ad with another announcer, and they had Jerry just chilling in the background holding a boom box, which is kind of
Nice.
funny that they still used him in the commercial even though he didn't speak the right.
That's
I-
fine. He had. I'm sure he had to have so many commercials, and that works.
Oh, here it is. I just got to cue this up to the right spot. So, all right, I got here the Spanish Crazy Eddie commercial featuring Jerry in the background.
Compre un nuevo estéreo, un televisor a color, un estéreo para el auto, un CD, un Sony Betamax, un telejuego, pero cómprelo ya, porque en precios nadie le gana a Crazy Eddie. Son tan bajos que casi lo regala todo. Salga de compras, busque los mejores precios que puede encontrar, entonces venga a Crazy Eddie. Le irá mejor. Llame al 645-1196. Recuerde, Crazy Eddie le garantiza la mayor selección, personal profesional en centros de servicio y los precios más bajos. Venga a Crazy Eddie ya, porque los precios de Crazy Eddie son una locura.
Una la cula.
He's just sitting back there chilling. He's like, I had to do so many commercials a year. You know what? This counts.
Yeah, no, it was Sparky Toaster writing, and see, when Brian's not here, there's no issues going into overtime. Yeah, but at some point we got to find someone to raid.
Oh, yeah.
And I got to get to bed so that I can get up early.
Oh, that's right. You got to deal with the big T tomorrow.
I got to catch the earlier tea and hope that they don't.
I hope you have your thermos ready.
I
You're gonna need your thermos of coffee in the morning just in case.
gotta need my thermos of coffee. All right, let's see. But but we do try to be educational here on.
Insert title here.
And I know I've learned a whole lot here today. But Mars, what have you learned here today?
I have learned that you have worked with a lot of tools, and I don't mean something with a handle.
You don't need something with a handle.
No, I don't mean something with a handle.
You don't mean something with a handle.
Yeah.
Ah,
But you worked with a lot of tools.
because I worked with a lot of tools, not with handles. And Sparky, you ready again? I'll call you tomorrow to see how you made out. And I learned that if you lose something on the train, don't call the customer service number. Show up in person and ask if they have it. And I also learned many, many years ago that if someone tells you something secondhand or third hand, go verify it before you get angry. Sparky writes in, I can't think of anything I learned, but on a good note, I did not have to open the Cheerios box.
Now, see, Sparky, I figured something. Instead of Cheerios, buy alphabets. And the reason with that is you can make words with the stuff you pull out and count at the same time. The little
Do they even-
extra, you know.
Do they even make alphabets anymore?
Yeah, you get alphabet cereal still.
You know, alphabets used to be sugar-coated. And then they made
no,
them...
Were they sugar coated?
They were. They were a super slow... They were like Frosted Cheerios, but letter-shaped before Frosted
I
Cheerios
thought
were even
they
a
were
thing.
not.
They were. But they at some point they stopped.
That's fine. I like them as they are. I like Kicks too.
Alphabets was a sugar-coated, like a glaze-coated cereal. And then they, for a period of time, they even made Alphabets with marshmallows. And then...
Yeah, there you go.
And so I remember when I was living in Maine at some point, and I was getting bored of different breakfast cereals. And, you know, after...
See if they have equal letters in the box.
You can see if... I can see Sparky there. Although I can't visualize Sparky there because no, he's an animated cartoon toaster. There with an alphabets box, A's over here, pile of B's, pile of C's. And then at the end of the show, he could tell us what the ratio is from, you know, between the different letters.
There's math involved in that. That sucks. Dang.
This is going to require a spreadsheet.
Oh, great. The Sparky Toaster alphabet spreadsheet.
Yes, exactly.
Okay. Who are we going to raid today?
We raided Graceful Bard last week, right?
Yes, we did. We've raided,
so-
we've raided Graceful Bard a couple times, actually.
Yeah, we have. So let's see. We got Natalie
I mean,
Page.
she is awesome, but...
We got Natalie Page and we got Ray Rachel.
Have we done Natalie Page recently?
It's probably been a while.
Is she doing music, or what is she doing?
I don't, you know, I don't know which. And then we got Tea Eater TV, which I don't know
Who
what
is
this is or how it
that?
got on my. I don't know. This must be something Dune was watching recently.
Anyway, our next videos that are going to be released are much more profesh than this.
Oh, that's weird.
The next one is going to be released in July and it was done
I don't
by
know. Does anyone know who Tea Eater
The one
TV
after
is?
that is done by Kendrick
There's a
Bird.
rubber chicken in this video.
I know there's MST3K, but...
All right, we're raiding this, whatever it is.
Also, Kendrick
All right, so we're gonna
Bird
raid
has an idea for
Tea
a session.
Eater TV because if it made its way into my
Gonna talk
follow
about
list,
Saturday,
it
but
deserves to
it
be
was pretty busy.
rated.
Yeah.
My shoulders?
Plain and simple.
My shoulders?
All right, thank you everyone for joining us.
Yes.
We'll be here next week, same time, same place, same box of Cheerios. Thank you all, and you all have a good night.
Everybody have a good night. Stay hydrated.
There we go. We have rated.
There you go. Oh, okay.
Hey, Johnny Gators! Welcome!
Such a weird flange.
All right,
Yeah.
well, you guys are new people.
Oh, well.
Hi,
Well,
I'm
good luck